A lot quicker than last week. We should be live. Let's give it 5 more seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. All right. Okay. So welcome back to Rise of the Runelords, the Skirmishers. Now, Rob, aka Dorbin, hit us up with that good old summary for last week.
All right, so we started off with pretty much the group kind of a little separated at the time. Well, mainly just Orbit. But Red decided that it was best if he started to go get re-equipped since he is now a gnome. So he can't use any of his old stuff. Um, he had to come back after talking with the blacksmith because he didn't believe that he was part of the Heroes of Sandpoint. So he had to go and grab Sigus and Solera. While he was off going to grab Sigus and Solera, Dorbin bought some holy water, and shortly after that met up with the party after Red had been re-equipped. Grabbing the druidic armor that we had taken off of a goblin a while ago. And then had to catch up with, found a way to catch up with Robin because he just took off immediately. Upon catching up to Robin on the road, we were able to find, or we saw a silhouette of a person on a hill seemed to be watching us. We decided not to investigate and just proceed on. Lost
me. You lost your track?
Yeah, I got it now. We stopped for the night, but Grigori and Robin continued on. Upon stopping, Simon said that he would buy us more horses once we got there if we wanted to continue. So we decided just to continue riding them because there was no reason to stop. Grigori decided that it was best that he just go through the proper channels, go into the city, while Robin decided he wanted to climb his way into the city over a wall, which he did successfully. It was a couple close calls, but he was able to make it through. And then it went back to the group again. We decided to speak to the guards, see if we could get in tonight. Solera was sent to kind of talk to the man and see if she could use her bardic charm and get us into the city easily. Unfortunately, the guard was kind of an asshole. Made suggestions that she could get in if she maybe did him favors, which she completely refused. He ended up arresting her, and then upon bringing her to, get booked, the lieutenant stopped him. That was Lieutenant Jean, and took all of us in and talked to us and apologized for everything that happened. We bounced back to Robin, where he had pretty much bumped into a very shady person. The shady person seemed to be linked to our findings in the Foxglove Manor, but he bolted, and Robin unfortunately missed his attack. I was not able to knock him out, and he tried to send the guards after him. Kind of worked, but also kind of didn't work. He ended up getting away and making his way to the cathedral, where he decided to dress up like a paladin and just walk in. And he immediately submitted to them and let them know everything and why he was there. At which point they cast his Zone of Truth, or said that they were going to cast his Zone of Truth and question him. Came back to the party, where Lieutenant Jean asked about how we had found Aldern and told us to seek out the judge to get clearance to assist in the investigation. Told us to visit the Crimson Raven for lodging. We all agreed that we would help with the investigation, and we also informed him of another party member that is already inside the city. And then we cut back to Robin just getting ready to be questioned.
Yeah. Very good summary. And there was one final detail that was sort of the cliffhanger for last session, which was that the first question was sort of put out, and that's where we ended last time. So go ahead and roll me 4D fate die to see how the fates favor.
How do you roll the fate die again?
F instead of a number. So 4DF.
4DF, okay.
Yeah. All right. Which means you guys have 2 die in able to use, 2d4s, and I have 1.
Nice.
Right. So, picking up right where we left off, Robin, you were kneeling down at the center of the cathedral. So give me just 1 second. I just realized that I have tab muted. Which, no. Why am I not hearing anything? Music not playing.
I can hear the music.
That's so weird. It's not reproducing the music for me. Oh, no. There we go. 1 sec. Just have to. Sorry, I just need to very quickly refresh the player's view for the stream, because otherwise it's not going to play the music on my end. Anyway, so getting back into the session while that thing reloads. Sorry, Robin, you were kneeling down in front of the paladins and clerics of Iomade, and as the paladin that had brought you in put a hand on your head, you felt a wave of energy flowing over you, and sure enough, a circle of this sort of orange, almost like ember-like markings on the ground appeared in a circle surrounding the two of you, and they had asked you if what is your relationship to former paladin. This let me apologize.
Out of character, I think he just asked yes or no, and I answered yes specifically. But if he wants to ask the relationship as well, I could also answer that.
Yeah, I think he had asked first. Yeah, you're right. He had asked, "Are you?" What was? I'm trying to remember the wording.
Are you? Fuck.
Related?
It essentially boiled down to, have you met with
Yeah.
former paladin
Yeah.
Erica?
So we'll put it this way: were you involved with former paladin Erica Delgato?
So Robin obviously looks up, and as he did last session, he says yes, and then he stops, sort of thinks about it, and he says, "May I clarify my answer? I did not know her as a former paladin. I only ever interacted with her when she was a paladin, as far as I'm aware."
He sort of takes a moment to contemplate what you're saying, and he turns his head to look at the rest of the clerics surrounding you, and back to you. It says, "As far as you are aware, how would you know? When you last saw her, what would you say was her state of mind?"
He was grieving for the loss of Marcus, I guess. And we had left her with an amulet that it was a gentle repose amulet for Marcus, so that he could be brought back to Magnimar and put to rest properly.
They sort of look amongst each other and then back to you. Can you describe this amulet for us?
I can. I think it was a Sahedron amulet, if I recall correctly, but I'm not sure if it had any other purpose except for gentle repose. I'm pretty sure it was just gentle repose, because if it was any more than that, it would have been worth more, and we probably would have wanted to sell it. But yeah.
They sort of. It's clear that like they're taking a moment to uh, take in the information that you just given them. They sort of look down. They sort of
I can
squint.
keep going if you want.
No, please go ahead.
So in Sandpoint, there was a goblin raid a couple weeks ago. Myself and several of my companions were there to pretty much quell that. We discovered a whole bunch of shenanigans going on, but what it boiled down to was there was this batshit crazy lady named Nualia who was trying to become a demon, and she killed me. But then I wasn't actually dead. I was just like kind of dead, and now I'm dying. But that aside, we ended up killing a greater bar guest inside of Thistletop, and what the fuck was his name? Malfashionacor. We ended up murdering him. Uh, but that's when Marcus died. Marcus died. I'm just getting really confused because there's this other guy named Marco. But yeah, no, Marcus.
Sorry, say the last bit again, because I think you have the two different fights mixed up. But
Oh, not died,
He
but
died, he died to
no,
the
got
nightmare.
yeah, he got downed, and then there's this whole kerfuffle about the help that we got, and we got betrayed. There were these guys that betrayed Paladins of Iomedae, and all of us were like, nah, fuck that. So we murdered them because they were clearly evil, and so the Greater Barghest is dead, like super dead, which is great. Unfortunately, two of my friends were killed by Nualia, and so that's not great. But that's that Thistletop place. That's where we found the necklace. Sorry, that's how this all connects. I know I kind of went a roundabout method there, but that's yeah.
right. Um, all right. What about the Paladin Marcus? When did he fall for good?
So we enlisted the help of Marcus and Erica to help help with the Greater Barghest because it apparently had been feeding and it was quite strong. So they helped with that, and we had agreed to help them with the Devil of Sandpoint, which turned out to be kind of like a nightmare, like uh the outer plane horse with like a mane of fire, and it's like super evil, but it was like kind of more demonish. And it breathed a cone of curse cloud, which was absolutely fucking atrocious. Um, but in that fight, it made like a cloud of smoke, and like we had to sort of fight it blind, otherwise it would get away. And in that cloud of smoke, like we heard, like we were all in it, and like I had jumped in from above to punch the thing, and Marcus was taking the front because he was tanking it down, just making sure that it didn't get anywhere. And like when I was in getting behind this horse to punch it, I heard like the crack of this thing's hoof on Marcus, and like I didn't hear him yelling anymore. So Erica stepped in to help fight, and then it died, but Marcus also died.
You see you can hear, you can feel the silence sort of overtaking the clergymen there as they take a moment to dig deeper into what you just said. Um, sort of look amongst each other, and they are mostly looking at you, but you can tell that their eyes are sort of vacant for a moment, and then they go. The paladin is sort of the one that is always addressing you. So, he has been put to rest where he belongs, amongst our fallen comrades. The service was good.
I'm glad to hear that he found his place of rest. He's kind of the reason why I'm here.
Why are you here exactly?
That's a good question. It really boils down to I need help, and I don't think it would be fair for me to ask for help without giving help. So I, 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 I don't really know how this works, but I figured I would pledge myself to Iomade and fight what I'm already fighting, I suppose.
You wish to become a member of Iomeda's church.
I do.
And like that I do, while within a zone of truth, sort of I don't know if it really catches Robin off guard. Like probably.
It feels kind of weird because he's been thinking about becoming a paladin of Iomade, but he never thought it would actually be real. He thought he'd just get rejected and kicked out. So the fact that he got this far, when he says it, like he's honest, but he's also like not sure if they're just fucking with him. Like he doesn't really. He was kind of raised by a cat burglar and like a mercenary, so he's kind of like wary of the popo, but he's like, I kind of really need your help. So yeah, I kind of do want to pledge my allegiance to the inheritor.
Very well. We can discuss this later. We're always welcoming of members to follow after her word, especially those who show such promise as yours. Though I'm afraid I do have a few more questions about former paladin Erica. She's been erratic, to say the least. She arrived at Magnimar days ago, and in the few moments she has been here, murdered two men in cold blood and has resisted arrest. In fact, she is still yet to be found.
That is news to me. I do have some urgent matters to discuss as well. I don't know if you'd like me to bring them up while I'm under the influence of a zone of truth. I would be more than happy to.
I think I think the zone of truth will not tongue slip. I don't think I don't think the zone of truth will be necessary if your feelings of joining Ayomade and her flock are as truthful as they sound. And as he says that, he sort of waits for you to give a response to that. But you can tell that he's ready to get going.
Sure. Robin will, he's on a knee and he says, if you'd like to get going, Robin stands up and says, is there anybody that can cast Hallow at this church?
He sort of he like lifts his hand from your head as you're starting to get back up, and as he does, the zone of truth sort of dissipates, and you sort of ask that, and we're sort of like looking amongst each other, and they look back at the paladin. And he says, "I am certain that more than one of our clerics is able of doing that. Why? What else do you know of?"
There, I could just say it out in the open. It might be rather alarming though, so I'm not so sure if I should or not.
Speak openly, please. Secrets have no room in this church.
There's a necropolis down the road. Also, I may or may not have found a broken phylactery in there, and also a cursed fungus. And may I speak freely?
Please, go ahead. This is quite alarming.
Shit's
already.
absolutely fucked. We need help.
Right. Right. And he sort of like turns around, and you see him call out for a couple of clerics, and three people show up, two men and a woman. They are all clad in somewhat disguised armor. They have sort of a medium armor covered in their underneath their robes, and they sort of approach the paladin and says, "Right, the three of you, I know I can trust. We'll see how we can handle this situation. In the meantime, you should stay here. Robin
Okay.
is your name, right?
Yes, sir.
Young acolyte Robin, I would recommend that you stay here for the time being and prepare yourself to be inducted. Well, initiated, I think is the best word to describe it. We'll see how willing Ayamedeus to take you into her flock.
Of course.
We will need every little bit of help that we can. The fight is never over.
No, it doesn't seem to end.
He sort of puts a hand on your shoulder, and he gives you this sort of reassuring nod as he walks past you, and you see a couple other clerics come over, and they sort of gesture for you to come with them.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, back at the front sort of gates of Magnimar, the rest of the party, including Grigori, Simon, and Ruben, you guys sort of get on the other get across the walls and are now inside of Magnimar proper finally. And as you're let go into the streets, and Lieutenant Lycott sort of tells you, you should visit the halls of justice early in the morning or as soon as you can. Though I don't believe the justice will be available this late at night. He is a little bit of a a little bit of a night owl, so you might be able to catch him. I will, however, have to, until you have a chance to talk to him, I will have to ask you to stick to one of my men if you're out on the streets. Make sure you're followed or well attended to at all times. He's sort of saying this to the party in general, but he's mostly talking to Silera, who has been the one sort of Salera and Dorban, who have been the two that are sort of leading the party as far as he can tell.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
We'll
So-
probably head to the inn first.
Yeah.
All right. Then in that case, he sort of gestures with his hand, and a guard comes over, and he sort of explains the situation very quickly and says, "Right now, just go pass them over. You know the deal. They're trying to get to the Crimson Raven, so take them to the dockways and then back around down into the lower areas." Yes, sir. He sort of salutes very militarily, and he sort of gestures for the lot of you to accompany him.
And we will follow.
Yep.
All right. I would like, as you guys
What's
are...
your name, random card?
The GM visibly, furiously shakes his fist at you.
It's
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
trying. I'm
Random
trying to
NPC.
remember. Yeah, no, I'm trying to remember what name I gave the guard for the other group.
Guys, I think he's evil.
Oh, I forgot his
Joe
name.
Louis.
Okay, this one random guard is gonna be Louis. Fuck it. Louis, please, try to keep talking to a minimum. We need to keep our eyes and ears peeled. I know that there are a lot of things bumping out in the night lately, so I would suggest you keep your eyes peeled.
Just the one set of murdery things or other things?
It's been complicated. Um, Lately, there have been a series of mysterious murders. People showing up with their, well, some body parts missing, among other things. As well as a recent series of, I wouldn't say revolts, but some people going out in the night and vandalizing houses, as well as you know, some general misdemeanors, but mostly those two things have been keeping us plenty busy.
Can I do a quick sense motive on him?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna move everyone to the Magnimar map.
Damn. Casual 33.
Yeah, you gotta love that being able to replace sense motive and diplomacy with perform oratory. That gives you such a big boost to support.
Yeah, when I remembered.
Yeah, you finally remembered.
I know.
Hooray.
Right. Right. So, as far as you can tell, he's being truthful about what he's saying. Like he sounds trustworthy. He sounds convinced of what he's saying. He's trying to. You get the feeling like he's trying to maybe downplay it just slightly. Like we've been busy, but it's under control. But you can tell like there's a slight bead of sweat running down the side of his forehead where it's like I haven't slept properly. I have been overworked. Things are a little bit hectic, kind of thing. So maybe it's not quite as under control as he's trying to appear. Um, and yeah, no, that's about it. Yeah, no, he seems pretty tired, and otherwise he's pretty dedicated to what he's doing and trying to keep things under control.
Well, I will just say we appreciate you very much supporting us through my.
Right, of course. And let me know if there's anything I can do to help you out. Well, when I'm available. Right now, I don't think my shift is going to end for another few hours, so we should get cracking. I don't know if you've been to Magnimar before, but it is a big city. We have quite a long way to get to the inn.
Sounds good.
Right. And
No carriages.
not operating at this late into the night. No, it is uncommon to see that kind of thing happening, and especially not now that we're under lockdown.
I kind of figured, but I thought I'd check. I got small.
There's I don't know if you've been informed, but there is a curfew more so than just the lockdown. Nobody is allowed to be out on the streets, with the exception of us guards, past nightfall. So you'll have to find a good place to stay and keep an eye out. If you see anyone outside, it's most decidedly suspicious.
Huh. That's good to know.
Okay. And as you guys are walking along the streets of Magnimar, which they are a very different sight from what you were experiencing until days ago in Sandpoint. Magnimar is sort of like this bustling metropolis of a city. Building, you don't see a single like thatch roof. Everything here is clay shinglings and like concrete buildings, like straight up solid concrete with flat surfaces, as well as like there's a lot of glass, like windows that are massive in some of the more refined homes, and everything's like 2 3 story buildings in this area of town, and everything seems to have these sort of washed out but very colorful palettes to it, like very pale oranges and pinks and whites. So there's a lot of sort of this fresh, colorful, almost like Greek style architecture to the entire place. But it's mostly like this overgrown city as you're walking. You can sort of take in the atmosphere, and it sort of has this somewhat lonely but at the same time vivid atmosphere as you're sort of sighted by street lamps, keeping the city lit even during the night. So yeah, go ahead and everyone roll me perception.
See if we can find the guy that Robin ran into. Nope.
You can.
We're just
I
missing.
got dark vision. That might help.
We're just missing one for 6.
There you go.
All right, so it feels like you Silera and Dorban, the two of you, sort of get that feeling every now and then, like you hear something like scurrying around, and it's like probably a rat, but you still instinctively sort of turn your head to look, and there's nothing there by the time you turn. Um, it sort of like keeps happening a couple times, and as you're passing through the streets, you get the sensation that despite the beauty and the level of advancement that this city sort of sports, there's a lot of trash in the streets. Like it seems to have gone downhill for a little bit. You see alleyways where trash has sort of piled up for probably a week, and it's sort of starting to become a mound, uh, layered and piled into the back of a tiny crammed space between two homes. Um, and Dorbin, as you're sort of walking past one of the lampposts that is just right to shine some light into the corridor, you do spot something that is sort of a little bit out of place in one of the alleyways. You see a branch sticking out from this sort of massive pile of trash, of garbage, assorted food and clothes. You see this branch that sort of has the silhouette of a uh, like clawed hand, and it's sort of broken at one point and sort of hanging at an angle. Um, and the reason why this sort of is a little bit striking, more so than the fact that there's a branch where everything else is manufactured, is that that branch is sort of coming out from what looks like a shirt and overall, or at least part of it, as the rest of it is sort of covered in more trash. And it sort of feels like a leftover piece of a scarecrow.
I will point it out to the party. I don't know
Huh.
if this, like, my mind kind of playing tricks on me after the whole field of scarecrows that were actually ghouls, but unsettling.
I do you mind if we stop for a second just to make sure that's actually nothing?
Yeah, make it quick, please.
Red'll kind of unhitch the switchblade and make his way over and kind of wave Dorbin to.
Okay. Dorbin?
I follow.
All right. And everyone else, what are you guys doing?
Can I pop on detect magic in that area where it looks like there's scarecrow?
Sure. You start to chant, and sure enough, your eyes sort of become alit with magic, glowing with energy. And as you stare into the hallway, you don't detect any magic other than the latent magical energies from the items that your companions wear.
Okay.
But it
So
doesn't seem to be
Sig-
anything on the pile of trash. What was that, Sigis?
Sorry, Sig's gonna do the same with
Yeah.
detect magic. He's gonna keep it on though, and just kind of gaze about and
Yeah.
he's gonna
Okay.
like check out, but like not necessarily those alley that because they're getting a pretty good look, but like other alleys around and yeah. But he's gonna stay pretty close to the guard.
Okay. Yeah, so you're sort of sticking with the center of the group as the other three are sort of detaching themselves and going into the alleyway. So as you sort of pan the city with the magical lens in front of your eyes, um, everything seems to be relatively mundane. Every now and then you get a ping of probably like a potion of cure light wounds that someone has inside of their homes. Um,
Got
and like you detect like here and there like small trinkets that might belong to the people in this town, in this city, as you're currently in the richest part of the town, or one of the three richest parts of the town. Um, Red, Dorban, Salera, as the three of you sort of scurry a little bit closer to the center of the alleyway. Red and Dorban, I would like the two of you to give me another perception check.
Let's see if I can not roll so bad on this one. Although my perception got significant.
Right. Oof, Dorban, that is a good perception.
Dorban's got it. Red
So-
doesn't see shit.
Yeah, so Red, you probably the thing that catches your eye first is the branch, right? And it sort of has like the perfect shape to be used for a scarecrow. It's like it has the shape of a hand and like a very emaciated but still humanoid looking arm. It's a pity that it was sort of broken at the half. And as you're sort of checking that out and looking around, you see there's quite a bit of value in the trash that was thrown out and has been piling up here. There are like clothes that just have a little bit of a tiny hole and could have probably been mended, but they have been discarded instead. But now they have been sort of soaking up the trash juices.
Okay. So
Yeah,
they're worth
it's
nothing.
like it's worthless now, but it's like a pity because somebody probably threw out perfectly good clothes in. There's like wooden boxes that seem to have been carved, and they're just missing a couple, like a hinge that broke off, and there's a scratch on the side of the box. So the lid is sort of loose and slipping off. And that's the sort of general sensation that you get. Like amongst all the rotting food and similar items, you find these sort of little bits and pieces that speak of the opulence of the people living here.
I
Dorban,
always hated the rich quarter for this kind of stuff.
Dorban, as you're sort of inspecting the scarecrow clothes, you sort of tug on them for a second, trying to sort of maybe testing the material, having first checked that nothing is undead or moving around. You sort of tug on the material, and you see that there's a little bit of a of what you suspected or perhaps feared might be the case. There's a little bit of blood on the inside of the cloth. Like something was either bleeding or perhaps undead and festering while wearing these clothes.
I will point that out to Red immediately.
That's not good. We should probably grab some. And Red will kind of start rooting through that part of the pile to see if there's anything down further, and if not, he'll cut off a swath of the cloth with this.
Sure.
I hate how wasteful this quarter is. Jeepers creepers. So
Yeah.
much garbage.
So if you want to uncover the entirety of the outfit, you're sort of going to have to dig in with your hands and start to push the trash away.
He's not gonna do too much, but he'll kind of like tamp it down a bit with his boot so that he can kind of see continues and like pull up on it enough to get a bloody cloth. I figure we got magic people; they can find out something
Sure.
about it. Maybe I don't.
Sure. As you sort of kick with your boots to try and uncover the rest of the outfit, you see that about the waist height, the shirt has been completely ripped off. So it looks like something very jagged cut through it, and sort of it starts about waist height on the left side, and it drags all the way to about where the tip of the shirt or like the bottom of the shirt should have been on the right side. Something would have cut through the stomach of this thing, or maybe it was ripped apart by the forces that be as it was shimmied around in the trash. Um, be that as it may, um, it looks like the bottom half of the overalls is missing, as well as all of the content of the scarecrow.
And while he's doing
Okay.
that, Dorbin is actually going to call over one of the guards that was escorting them,
Mhm.
and he will very quietly tell him that that I found blood on the shirt. So that it was injured while wearing it, or it's possible
It could be. It could also be that
it's
someone discarded some used bandages and he got transferred over. There's no way of telling.
Well, I mean, it does kind of look like someone solid cut across the chest, but and there's blood kind of it looks like that happened, but I suppose it could be anyway. Do you mind if we take some of this? I mean, I'm assuming you're gonna want some so you can do your own follow up.
Please leave the trash alone. I'll ask. I'll inform my superior and have someone come in. Probably they'll have to take everything in. Thank you for spotting it out.
All right, your job, your call.
The can we tell like what house or like like what house this trash belonged to, or is it just kind of just randomly in the alleyway and it doesn't look like it belongs?
So this may be something more modern and specific to what I am accustomed to, but it looks like this is the shared space for trash. It's missing bins, most definitely, but this is like sort of the area where the three homes, the three buildings that share this alleyway, are sort of dumping everything. So it could belong to any of the three that are surrounding it, or it could be that somebody came from the streets and just threw things in there.
Okay.
There is no barrier, is the point.
Yeah.
And if Celera mentions that she's looking at that, Red will kind of throw out, yeah, I mean, in my younger year, or well, when I was here before, I know a lot of people that used to wander around and look for valuable trash piles, and they could have dropped it. Someone could have dropped it from any of the other trash piles around the entire city. It's yeah. There's no guarantee.
Well,
Find some good stuff if it's clean, though.
and I'm just like, sure.
Red shrugs and kind of goes back to the gardens, I guess.
I'm not judging you.
Yeah. Gotta make a living.
All right. All right, yeah. So with that being said, the guard sort of takes you back into the group and asks you if we're good to keep going. Are we good to proceed then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Sure.
Let's get back on the road. It's gonna be a while. And yeah, I mean, as you go across the capital district and you start to head down the side of the mountain, um, you sort of get this beautiful view of the rest of Magnimar from the stairs. Um, it's less stairs, more like a ramp. So the ramp starts in the capital district and goes all the way down to the dockways over here. I'm just gonna focus. In fact, oops. Go. Nope. Didn't like it. Right. It doesn't seem like it's working, but whatever. It seems like that ramp sort of leads down from the capital district and into the dockway, and it starts at the top of the high rise of Magnimar. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is because there's a over 300 feet difference between where the capital district is and where the low cleft in dockways are. And it's a sheer cliff wall separating the two. And as you're going down this ramp, you get to see all of Magnimar from there. All the tiny homes sort of spreading as far as the eye can see, reaching the far walls on this western end of Magnimar. And you can see the towers that stand up and clearly in view from here. And as you reach the dockways, you can feel that sort of sudden change in architecture. You've gone from those mostly like terracotta and concrete buildings with beautiful terminations and clay shingling rooftops to these much more industrially built, very sort of function over form houses. And it's mostly warehouses that you're seeing here next to the docks. You see large, long buildings with exposed bricks for their main material, and wooden planks for the rooftops in most of the homes here. And as you take a south turn on the dockways, you make all your way down around, and it's taking like the better part of an hour and a half to sort of navigate the entirety of the city. This is a very large city. Um, but eventually, the guard, already quite tired, and probably all of you as well from walking this far, you see as you're sort of zigzagging through the alleyways and still getting that sort of sensation every now and then that something is scurrying around and nearby. You sort of hear that. You hear a metallic sound of something being knocked over, and everyone sort of turns with their nerves on end to see where the source was. Nothing happens. You take a couple of moments to check it out. It seems like an empty alleyway. You get back on the way, and eventually, last turn, as you come into a little bit of a quaint cobblestone uh, road that leads from the main road and into the docks. You see this black wooden house that is 3 stories high and quite long compared to how deep it is. And it has this sort of sheen to its paint. It almost looks like there's a thick layer of oil covering the entire building, with the exception of two things. One is the sign out in the front, and the other is the main door. The two of them sport this really vibrant crimson red. The sign holds a raven, the shape at least, the silhouette of a raven taking flight, whereas the door seems to be carved with a intricate pattern of feathers, where it doesn't have its main frame sort of holding it together. It has this sort of vibrant red color with a brass doorknob. And as you guys stand in front of it, the guard turns to you and says, "All right, okay, we're finally here, Crimson Raven. Bid you good night. Please head indoors, and I hope that accommodations you get are proper."
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
gonna take a look at Corbin and kind of give him a look like, I don't want to go in there.
Just, it should be fine.
This is one of the nicer places in the dockways. Trust me, we can do it.
Okay.
If they have a bed, I'm down. I need to sleep so badly.
By
maybe
now
I-
it is
I'm with
about
you,
4
Mel.
a.m.
It's
in the
like-
morning.
It's like I need a nap.
Okay, maybe I'm just trying to connect things that don't make any sense. Maybe I need sleep.
We got you. Don't worry, Solara.
Okay,
All right.
and then sure, we'll head in.
All right. As you guys head in, the guard sort of stands outside waiting for the last of you to go through and close the door behind you. And sure enough, as each of you goes in one by one, the person behind the bar, who seems to be tending to the house at the moment, sort of looks up and says, good evening. Welcome to the Crimson Raven. Here for overnight stay?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's left of it?
As you guys are sort of walking in, the interior of the building is a lot more welcoming than the outside. It seems to have these mostly sort of cream colors to the walls, and every now and then you see like a frame that is completely black with a picture, a beautiful painting of landscapes with what you very quickly realize all of the paintings have here and there a raven flight, which has been painted red to allude to the building that you're in. And aside from the lot of you, including your three companions, is one other patron of the building who seems to be having a little bit of a drink at 4 a.m. And they're sort of sitting in a table by pretty close to where the reception desk is. But the receptionist sort of says, "All right, so how many of you are? Oh wow, large group. One, two. Is it going to be 7 of you?"
We do have one
We-
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8, yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you have any preferences for separating your group, or?
I think our travel.
If-
No, I
if
think
we could
our
be at
guests,
least
the
Have
2 guys
one.
with us, are gonna have a
sorry.
separate.
I'm sorry. Could you say that again, sir?
Sorry, I don't know if I was going. I was gonna say, I think the gentleman who we brought here, these 2, and he's gonna point out the get their names who we
Simon and
came
Ruben.
with us. Yeah, they'll probably want their own room. I'm assuming. It's gonna.
Yes, that'd be preferred. Yes, Ruben and I should be staying in the same room. And do you have a policy against animals? No, sir, we don't. So 1 room for 2, and the rest of you.
If we could split it up.
Do you
between,
have like
2 rooms?
Sure, we have rooms for 4, for 2, and single rooms. In fact, there's also the
I
communal.
mean, if you got a sorry,
There's a communal room. It's bunk beds in one large room. It's sort of for people who are only staying for a couple hours, perhaps taking a nap. Come in, take a room, rest up, and get back on the road.
Sounds like what we're looking for.
Unless
yeah.
we want.
Well, we
You
might
wanna
be
get more
staying in
sleep 'cause they'll all
town
be-
for a while. We might want to get an actual room.
Or
Okay.
if they're all gonna get
Whatever.
up in 4 hours.
Yeah, we
Let's
could
do
do
2 separate rooms then.
a 4 and a 2 would probably.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sorry. I'm having. I think you're missing. You're gonna need one more room unless you're you're intending to share a bed.
Hmm?
Well,
Wait.
you said a 4 and a 2, and there's 7 of you, so.
Well, no, because the other two oh sorry, two twos. That's my
Oh,
bad.
okay.
I
All right.
forgot
Yeah, no.
about Ruben.
Of course, of course. Let me just get that settled in. I'm gonna need the names of who's gonna be keeping the keys while you're in town.
Dorban Plate Rock.
All right, and they take note, and Simon sort of speaks up and says, "Simon Viven, of course, and one more for the other two room."
Sigus Itwin.
Right, Sigis and wait. All right. Let me just get this for you. All right, let's get 7, 9, and 13. If you will follow me, I'll show you to your rooms. The stay, you're gonna have to, you'll pay in the morning or when you come in for breakfast tomorrow morning, or when you decide to depart the room for the time being. The costs are a single gold piece per 3 nights, um, or you can pay 5 silver for a single night if you're just staying overnight. And as they say that, they are sort of already taking the keys off the shelf and starting to come around the room.
We'll likely need the room for a few days at least. I suspect we'll be here for.
Isn't that a little expensive?
It's not terribly expensive if you consider that they're also including um, food and bath, but
I mean,
it is
For three
well,
three
wait,
three days is a gold piece for the 4%.
Yeah.
That's not terrible.
yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, I was thinking gold piece a night.
No. It's a gold piece
That's
per
absolutely-
3 night on a large room.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's reasonable. Sorry.
And it's good that we can pay because if we have to leave early, we just pay what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe like Dorman maybe assumes that it's per person per night. And it's like, well, it is actually the large room is the one that is a little bit more expensive, but we've managed to find a way to just charge per room here. In general, we are considered one of the cheaper, or perhaps not cheaper, but most affordable places in Magnimar. It's one of the things we're quite proud of. In fact, we get a lot of travelers.
That's good.
Your reputation certainly is doing well with the guards. They're the ones who suggested.
I who sent you our way, just so that I know who to thank for it.
The captain, or wait, was he a lieutenant? Frig, what was his name? Sailor, you're better with names.
Lieutenant Jean.
Lycott.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll have to send him my thanks then. All right, here we are on the left. This is room 7, and next to it, room 9. Here are your keys. And she sort of hands over one key to Dorban and the other to Sigis. And he sort of gestures for Simon and Ruben to follow them over to the next room over, sort of in a diagonal. Says, right this way. I'll show you to room 13. If there's anything you need, as soon as I'm done showing the room to the two gentlemen, I will be available at the reception up until 7 a.m. and my companion will be taking over at that point.
What did you say your name was? Sorry.
It's Sarah.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. Right. So this way. And she sort of takes Ruben and Simon away. Yep. And you guys are left with to rest up in a somewhat quaint couple of rooms. I don't know how you guys are splitting the rooms between yourselves, because Grigori is with you guys, and as far as he's concerned, he's staying with the group.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yeah. So that makes six. No, 5 of you. Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's 5 of
because
you.
Robin's missing,
Yeah.
Silara can have a room to herself for now.
I'm
Yeah.
not taking a room by myself.
I mean,
I was gonna
you're
say,
gonna be sleeping
like,
with dudes otherwise.
well,
I mean,
there's
Dorbin
That's
will
split beds.
volunteer to sleep in the room with Solara
Thank you.
because he knows she's skittish.
Sirius will fall on the
just
sword to take
lately,
a room.
okay?
Yeah.
Alright. So
That's why I didn't give up my name when we were checking in. I was like, I'm not doing it.
right, yeah. So
Grigori,
then,
why don't we set up in the larger room then, and let Solara and Dorbin set up in the.
Sure.
Deal.
sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. I do
I
need.
hope you don't snore.
Everyone
I've
roll a snore check.
I have been told to have whistling sound to breathing. And this problem of having
Okay.
only having broken nose, it tends to whistle.
Yeah, well, whatever. I could sleep through anything at the.
Yeah. And with that being said, you guys are probably unlocking the doors, going in, and setting up. In the meantime, Robin, you were taken to a back room in the cathedral, and what looks like a what is it called? A ember walk was set up in this room that has sort of razors on both ends um, of this ember walk. And in case you don't know what I'm referring to, it's like almost
It's
somewhere
fire
between.
walking, right?
Yeah, it's about 10 to 15 feet length of charcoals that are black and like they're not like white and ashen, but like just barely embers, and you can see the glow, the orange glow from underneath them. Um, and you have been given a set of robes to wear, and they seem to be preparing some ointments and some oils, and they have brought up a rather large, thick book that they have placed on a lectern, and they sort of set it up beside you. Um, and as they are sort of the two clerics are sort of moving around the room, they aren't really explaining much unless you ask about anything in particular.
I mean, I mean, I'm just gonna see what I can gather with a knowledge religion. I do have
Sure.
a rank.
Yeah, give me a knowledge religion check.
So I think they're gonna make me walk on that, and that's about all I got.
I mean, you get the feeling like this is like a very weird form of baptism, and you get like, all right, there's fire because Iomade does have something to do with fire. At least she's.
Yeah, isn't her symbol like a long sword on fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gonna make you walk on fire. Maybe there's some kind of ceremony to this whole taking a first step into becoming cleric or paladin of Iomade. It's strange. You're not certain what's gonna happen, but you get the feeling like this is a very sort of maybe over the top but legitimate ceremony for this.
Just gonna keep his mouth shut, and like if it has to get done, it has to get done.
All right. At some point, one of the two clerics stops moving about and goes over to you and sort of opens up the book and says, "You should read these passages here." And he shows you a small, like 2-paragraph section that seems to be less of a like a dense text and more like a poem sort of thing. And what you gather, this is the traditional wording for a oath that you would take to become a paladin.
So Robin's gonna be like, "Oh, oh, I know this. And he's gonna go into his pocket and he's gonna take out the soggy fucking book. That's the old tenets of Iomade, and he's gonna be like, I may have dived into a whirlpool trying to extract my friend's dead body and kill an undead creature. It got a little wet.
Oh, what a pity. Do you mind if I take it?
Of course, it was a gift from Father Xantus in Sandpoint. If it can be restored, I'd like it back, but if it's
Um,
too far gone, I might just keep it as a memento anyways.
I'll try. And they put a hand on top of it, and you see their eyes. As they close them, you can see like the very small slit that is left sort of shines with light. It sort of pours out of their closed eyelids, and their hand sort of starts to shine on top of the book, and you see it sort of crispen up as the water is sort of rinsed out of it, and you can tell like mm, some of like the darkness on the edges of the pages has sort of like dissipated and recovered its natural like off-white color. They sort of look back at the book as they're done, and they open their eyes. They open the book, take a couple cursory glances. Uh, Wait, this isn't the book of Ayamade.
It's a little old. I've been told it's one of the earlier printings.
Sort of like starts to go over the different pages. No, oh,
Hold on, I remember this. I remember this. And Robin's gonna think, and he's gonna be like, can I just go on a monologue here and just do the tenets of Iomade really quick?
uh, are you gonna be reading the actual tenets of Ayamade, or are you gonna
Yes.
read?
Yes.
Okay, so just for reference sake,
Yeah.
and this is like as the cleric is about to say it, you haven't been reading Ayamade. Um, you haven't been reading Ayamade's tenets. In fact,
Okay.
you have been
Oh,
reading
shit.
a very old version of the Church of Ayamade. In fact, one that predates Ayamade as a deity. You have been
Oh,
have
shit.
been reading Araden's.
Eridan. Yeah.
Yeah, Araden's tenets. If you'd like to say the ones that you have remembered from, you have committed to memory, you would be reading the ones that belong to Araden.
Okay. Well, I did not know, so I don't have those ones committed to memory, unfortunately.
Yeah, so
But
we'll
had I
say like
committed them to memory,
we'll say that Robin sort of starts to say that it's like those are I'm sorry uh, just read the ones on the book in front of you. This one is ones are from Eridan. It's quite an old book, in fact. Miracle it survives to this long. In over 700 years.
oh, wait, isn't he the guy that Iomade served and then
He is
kept?
he was the last of the Aslanti, yes. The original mantle that now is in the hands of Ayomade belonged to him first.
Huh.
She served under him as a paladin of his religion before she undertook the test of the Starstone.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna read this then, and make sure I do this right.
Yes, please. Also,
All right.
my our associate might be applying some oils to you while you're reading this, so try to maintain your concentration.
Oh, neat. I get a massage. Cool. All right. They treat us right in here. Okay. All right. And he starts reading it out. So do you want me to read it out? Because I will.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
significant enough of a change that you should really read those passages out loud.
All right. He's gonna
And
be like, so I start here. This
just
is where I start right here.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
this line over here.
All right. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon a companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I will guard the honor of my fellows, both in thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I would give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Iomede's perfection.
Yeah. And at that point, you feel like the liquid, sort of this oil, being dripped onto your head and slowly washing over you as it sort of runs through your hair. And you see the cleric that had been holding your book is now at the other end of the embers, and they're holding a longsword, a what looks like a silvered longsword. Um, and they're sort of holding it with both hands, and they're sort of presenting it to you in a way. And the cleric that is sort of slowly pouring this oil over your head as you finish reading the last passage, brings the pitcher back up, takes a couple steps back, and he sort of gestures and says, "Walk the embers, be cleansed by her fire, and accept your charge."
Okay. So out of character, Robin just light steps over and doesn't take any damage, and it just looks like he's walking over them.
Sure.
That's just his instinct is to just like, I just go, and
So,
Yep.
Robin, I would like you to reread internally, not out loud, but reread the passages that you just read about Iomede's tenants.
which one?
Just read them for yourself over again, and realize that what they just told you to do, and not what you're doing. Because I don't
Wait,
know.
what did they say? Did they tell me to catch fire?
They did say, and let her fire cleanse you.
Oh, okay. So Robin will get halfway and be like, wait. And then as he stops to think about it, he stops light stepping in the middle of it, and he's like, oh, my feet are now on fire.
Yeah, so as you stop light stepping for a second, as you sort of maybe it takes you a moment to incorporate the tenets, maybe, but it's more likely that it's like it goes against all of your teachings, or at least your training, to do what you are
It was
having
a
to do.
reflex to just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moment your feet properly touch the embers, you feel a certain warmth spread through your body, and you can feel like pain searing the soles of your feet. Um, it's like a rather uncomfortable pain. It's not searing hot like a knife, but
It's not
rather
lethal damage.
yeah, no, it definitely feels like uh, hotter than the hottest sand that you've walked upon, even in
Okay.
the hottest of summers. Um, and it feels like it's slowly peeling your skin away. But it almost like takes a moment to spread that pain through your body, and then you are engulfed by fire. But that fire doesn't burn you, not immediately, at least. And then it
Oh.
sort of washes over you, consuming that oil that has been dripping through your body. You can feel your skin sort of warming up, and then as you take a couple more steps towards the other end of the embers, the pain in your body sort of reaches a peak, and then it dies down and sort of leaves this sort of sensation of needles all across your body, a numbness. And the cleric is sort of holding the longsword in front of you.
At any point, did that become lethal damage?
Nope.
Okay. So Robin's gonna stand there and be like, "Did I just catch fire?"
You did. You have experienced cleansing fire. Now, take your charge.
This is mine.
They nod.
Robin will take it.
Yep. And as you take it, you feel the weight of the sword, and it feels heavier than you expect. It feels heavier than any longsword you've tried out before. And as you take the sword, the cleric sort of takes a step back, and you see the other cleric is sort of walking over, and they both nod at you, and they say, "Welcome to the flock, brother."
Isn't there supposed to be like a really difficult test that I'm supposed to do to prove myself, or like, don't I need to squire for like 10 years or something?
It will come to you in due time, brother. You'll see gods have a strange way of acting. If the
Yeah, they do.
if the Had Paladin has approved of your indoctrination, then you must have seen something in you.
Sweet. Thank you. Sort of new to this. Is there a sheath?
Yes, let me get that for you.
Okay.
It's technically not part of the ceremony, but come with me and I'll show you around the place. We have much to show you.
I'm real sorry. And he's like still holding the sword, and he's like, shit. And he turns it around, sort of like holds it at his hip. I'm real sorry. Urgent matter. I have evil relics that require hallow spells to be destroyed.
Ah, yes. Yes, of course, the Halloween. Let me go to the front of the cathedral. I'll meet you there with your sheath, and you should be able to talk to the leader there.
Okay. Alrighty then. And he'll sort of just like look around, look back at his stuff, and he's gonna see like all the coals, and he'll just like step over the coals, just because.
Yep.
And then he'll go get his stuff and sort of like, do I keep the robes on for now, like, or is this just for the ceremony? Like, what?
The tabard is yours to keep. The robes,
sweet.
you may dispose of them or leave them there for the next acolyte that comes.
Okay. All right. He'll just like sort of put on his sleeves and many garments, put on that skin tight cat suit underneath the robes, and then just like take the robes off, and then just put his normal clothes back on, put the tabard on, grab all his shit, suit up, realizes he has 2 long swords now. Oh fuck yeah, dude. This is dope. And when everybody, while he's getting all his shit together and all the other clerics have left the room.
Yeah, but
he's gonna take the fight. What's up?
By the time that you finish up redressing with your street clothes, the cleric has come back and they are sort of like standing beside you, waiting for you to finish up, and like they have a scabbard in their hands.
Oh, okay, cool, awesome. And he's just gonna take the Fireforged longsword, put it on the other side of his hip, and then receive the scabbard, put the Iomade sword on his left hip, and be like, now I have 2. Sweet. Go to the front of the cathedral.
Yep.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and at the front of the cathedral, sure enough, you find the paladin that had been talking to you not too long ago. Salazar, indeed. Has gotten about 10 clerics and 5 paladins surrounding him. And they seem to be almost like repairing for marching order kind of thing. But they're still talking amongst themselves and like discussing certain affairs, and you're not quite sure as you're getting closer what they're talking about.
I will not interrupt whatever they're doing. I will just stand within eyesight and just wait to be spoken to, because as as weird as it may sound, Robin was technically taught how to be polite. He just chose not to.
Yeah.
So he's utilizing that.
Yeah, finally making use of your noble upbringing. Yeah. So a couple moments go by before Salazar sort of notices you, and like he's trying to explain something to the clerics, and like they're probably discussing tactics. Sort of like looks up and like acknowledges the fact that he's seen you, finishes up what he was saying, and then comes over to you and says, "Good. It's good to see that you have finished your ceremony. Um, I see you have two longswords now, which is um, not unheard of, but a
This
little bit.
one lights on fire though, and he gestures to the one on his right hip. But this one's silver, right?
Uh, yes, they're not actually silver. They're silvered. Is
Okay.
it's let's just say once you've proven yourself, uh, maybe you'll think about getting a true silver.
I kind of like this one. It's heavy.
It has the weight of our mission on it, does it not?
Uh, yeah, it's really heavy.
Well, before I can personally give you some pointers into how to properly address our query, and I can give you the tests you require to uh, truly become paladin of Ayamade. As I understand, that was the reason why you had come here. Um,
Yes.
we do have some more pressing matters to attend to.
About that, I may have some knowledge about this. Um, are they leaving to do something?
We're preparing to handle the necropolis that you mentioned.
Oh, yeah. So the Foxglove Manor along the Long Coast Road on the way to Sandpoint, you just sort of take a left once you see it on the hill, and yeah, I would strongly recommend uh sort of keeping your wits about you and maybe sending some big hitters in, because there's like a revenant in there. We think it's still in there. The entire house is covered in this putrid fungus that might be sentient and might also house the soul of a lich in it. We're not sure. I'm not sure how that works. The entire place is falling apart, so don't go on the roof. I know that sounds very specific, but don't go on the roof. Um, what else? You may suffer some sort of delusions in there at some point, tricks of the mind, and uh, there. Oh, in the basement there's a lab where what was his name? The original Foxglove that built the manor. It's, I think his name started with a V. I don't think it matters at this point to you. But he was trying to become a lich, and he's got a lab in the basement. I unlocked all the doors. I know it sounds sketchy, but I unlocked all the doors, and all the necromancy stuff there was sort of taken by us as evidence, and my buddy's got it. Wait, yeah, no, he's got it. So I'll be able to gather that for you guys shortly. Um, what else? Oh, there are carrion swarms around there. There also might be a whole bunch of ghouls running around in the farms. and the marsh and just around that north of that river. You might want some extra people to go get the ghouls because they're probably just running rampant. Oh, and at the very bottom, there's like next to the lab, there's this hole in the floor, and there's this cave, and like at the end of the cave, there's this big room with a whirlpool in it. Don't fall in. Again, kind of specific. And then there's a door, a big metal door, and inside of there, that's the source of the necropolis. I'm pretty sure. There should be like this black smudge on the wall with a mushroom growing out of it, and that's evil as fuck. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, that shit's so evil. Like, don't detect magic inside of the house. Don't channel energy. Don't fuck with it. Like, just hallow that shit. Like,
Right.
straight up.
Good. Is there anything else?
I mean, I've got half of that in an extra dimensional space, and I also have a broken lich phylactery in an extra dimensional space.
Do I?
Yeah.
He sort of gestures for you to hand over the items that you just mentioned. He's sort of like holding out a hand.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. And he sort of like looks at him as he's doing this. Sorry, there's a lot of rations in here. And he pulls out the obsidian cube and he's like, "Here's this."
Sort of holds
he's taking it out with like the tongs from the any tool. He's like rummaging, and he's like, "Don't touch it with your hand."
Yeah, he reaches out with his hand to grab the tongs, and he stops himself and like looks at it, looks at you, looks at the back.
Yep.
I would advise against consuming any of that. He grabs the tongs.
Yep.
And you see him take it. Yeah, he sees you see him take it. He sort of looks at it, turns it around to take a couple of glances, and he looks back at the group of like it looks like 2 squads. There are 2 paladins and 4 clerics each. So all in all, there's 12 clergymen behind him. And as you were speaking and talking about the details of the house, the squad seemed to like form behind Salazar and like were paying attention to you. And he sort of like takes a moment. Okay. Amos and Tanya, the 2 of you are in charge of the operation. Take your squads. You heard the man. You know what's waiting for you there. And if reports are to be believed, you should also see to the ghoul situation around the place. Make sure you cleanse everything that is undead and demonic in the region.
Last little tidbits. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
There's also a sanitarium up on a hill, and I saw some dude walking in it from a distance, but I'm pretty sure that's closed and in disrepair, so they may have run away after we took the manor and gone there, or spread throughout the field still. Honestly, the food situation is really bad in Sandpoint, and I know that they provide food to Magnimar, so whoever did this, like, they knew what they were doing. So...
Noted. All right. Amos, Tanya, don't tally. Go. And they nod and you're like, yes, sir. And turn around and march out with their clerics in tow. And just to clarify, Amos and Tanya are the 2 paladins, 1 each squad.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. So they immediately start marching out, and he sort of looks at you and says, "I'll talk to the officials and see if we can find a way to settle the food supply business. In the meantime, I do need to get rid of this somehow. Come with me."
But wait, there's more. I will follow you, and I will take the tongs and put it back in here.
He doesn't he doesn't give them back to you. He's like holding on to them.
Yeah.
Like he probably took like as he was saying that, he took them from you. Like he's holding them, and he's like walking towards the back of the church. Just to clarify, I say church, but this is like one of those Gothic,
massive fucking cathedrals,
massively tall cathedrals.
Yeah.
And
like
there's
the Vatican big, or like?
we're talking Europe, like old European big. So
Yeah.
like
Okay.
Holland and Russia
Hmm.
type big. I
Big.
don't.
Got it.
Yeah, excessively so. We're talking like
Yeah.
you look up and it gives you that sort of sense of vertigo because
Uh-huh.
the perspective on how tall this thing is sort of bends the. You can see the perspective of the tower sort of directing to a single point at the top.
Yeah.
Um,
Gotcha.
yeah, but yeah, he sort of takes you to the back. But you were about
Mhm.
to say something else.
I was gonna say, oh, we got more. There was a cursed mask. Uh, it's a stalker's mask. Apparently, it's made of a bunch of human faces. I don't know. I got that so that we can destroy that too. Got a rock of the fungus, and I should probably burn all these rations right.
All right. We'll
Yep.
we'll let us handle that one at a time, and
Oh yeah, of course.
we'll start with a simpler then. I'll teach you a way or two about dealing with these items. And he puts down you sort of reaching not the main altar, but you sort of go to a side altar
Hmm.
on the cathedral. There's like a little bit of a wing to the building. Puts down the phylactery on the altar, and you can see like it's there's a sound of hissing and sizzling as he puts
Hmm.
it down. And you can see like a tiny bit of black smoke pouring from the the space between the phylactery, like where it's touching the altar. And he gestures for you to put the items on there, and we'll sort of skim over what's going on, but he's essentially going to be showing you some basic ways of getting rid of cursed items, which is essentially showing you amongst other things, Hallow spell, remove curse, which he's telling you you're not going to be able to um, project these kinds of um, gifts quite yet. You're far too early in your career for this, but one day, if the goddess is willing, will give you the ability to channel this much power into a request. He shows you the Hallow spell on the things.
Oh, it feels great to have these items just destroyed.
Yeah, and like
And
as he puts a hand over the phylactery, it sort of like shines with white light, and it sort of starts pouring out from the altar, extending the range of his spell, sort of washing over the entire building and surrounding area. And you feel that sort of lightness in the air for a moment. The air itself becomes crisper, a little bit colder, but in a way that is refreshing.
Mhm.
And you feel your skin again like tingling, like needles touching your skin. And there's this sharp spark of pain that runs through you for just a second as you hear a crack as the obsidian glass just breaks on this partial cube, and then he brings out his sword, which seems to be made out of this. It looks like it's made out of mithril because it has that sort of bluish, cyanish sheen to its silvery surface. And he strikes down the cube while he's doing, still chanting the spell. And you see the cube just shatter into 1,000 pieces, letting out this sort of black, purely black smoke rising up in the shape of a hand as it tries to claw its way away from him. He strikes through the smoke, rending it open. You see it burst with light. And just a
Robin flips off the hand as it's trying to get away and just like, because I know that Salazar's like looking at this thing with his, or even with his eyes closed, and then Robin's like, "Yeah, fuck you, Lich, fuck off." Yeah,
yeah, so like
that's what you get.
you're blinded by the explosion of light that comes from the smoke. Um, and then like it takes a couple seconds to for things to come back into shape, and then black and white shape, and then slowly they start regaining the color as your eyes begin to adapt again. Uh, and you have destroyed the what remained of the phylactery.
Sweet. All right, and number 2 and 3, and we're just gonna do those.
Yeah, yeah. And after the ceremony, he's gonna ask if you're still willing to practice some more. He would like to teach you some techniques and some uh, practices. I think you might find are better suited for a paladin of Yamade.
Of course, I literally don't sleep, so yeah.
It is a strange thing. Oh,
Yeah.
well, you'll have to tell me about that as we spar a little bit, and he'll take you to the court. There's like an open area to the side of the church that is sort of a garden area, and he'll bring out a couple of sparring weapons, and you'll probably spend some time practicing out there. Um, if you don't mind, we'll leave the details of what happens during that practice session for a later point in time, because I want to skip into the morning.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So we don't know exactly how much knowledge Robin has gained from his session last night, but you would have been invited to stay with the rest of the clergy in the different communal homes they have nearby to spend the night and break bread in the morning with them, sort of share the morning prayers to Ayomade before heading about your business.
Mm-hmm.
In meantime, rest of the party. I imagine there was nothing else you guys wanted to do at 4 a.m. The night prior.
Nope.
Sleep.
Yep. So you guys slept and you overslept.
Yeah, Dorbin be sleeping the 8 hours. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. So like it's around noon that the party, in its totality, is actually awake, and most of you sort of slowly trickle down into the lobby and are enjoying lunch, breakfast, brunch, let's call it. And there seem to be quite a few other guests of the Crimson Raven that are sort of having the same situation where they've woken up late and are having a little bit of a late start to the day.
Well, I mean, we lost some of the day, but jeepers, I feel a lot better now.
Same. Speaking of feeling a lot better,
It was
Oh,
very
you-
I have
needed.
a couple people to attend to here.
Is it too late
Yeah.
for breakfast?
Uh, well, breakfast should be had before 10, 11 usually. So I would say we are a little bit late for breakfast, but we could grab brunch. And the one that is saying that is Simon, who's like clearly like eyeing what everyone else is having for lunch at the lobby.
I'm with you on that one, Simon. Food would be good.
You know it.
Well, I say we get a table and have a sort of quick something to eat. We do. Ruben and I need to get started with our investigation. Um, hope the lot of you will likely do the same.
For sure.
We'll have to link up and compare notes. I suspect our investigations will be linked.
Perhaps I hope not. That would mean there is more to the death of my relative than I had first hoped.
Well, you said it happened around the time that these murders started, right? Or was it before that?
Unfortunately, it's very likely that happened at the same time, yes, and that is what I'm fearing. But still, I would prefer it if it was somehow otherwise. The case was somehow otherwise. Um, you know, I need to have some hope.
Completely understand.
Right.
Yeah, don't let me rob that from you.
All right. Let's push past the sad tones and have us had some breakfast, and then we need to head to the Hall of Justice. Let's get that investigation ongoing, shall we?
Look at all the bread they have, Sigus.
And as you say that, they're like one of the waitresses is coming in with like bowls of soup with of like served inside of a like perfectly round and cut open bread.
Bread bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And there's people having like rather stuffed sandwiches for lunch. They don't seem like to be particularly heavy meals, but they are definitely like warm meals. So you see a lot of soups going about and a lot of like hot sandwiches that seem to be dripping with meat juices.
Meat juice.
Meat juice. But yeah, you guys get to have a little bit of a quick lunch, and then unless there's something you guys would like to talk about with Simon, Ruben, and Grigori, or amongst yourselves, before you head to the Halls of Justice.
Well, before we had even headed down to breakfast, Dorburn wanted to see if he could cure both Silera and Sigus of their diseases.
Oh, that is a good point. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, you guys got to get booped.
No, we already did the check yesterday. Yeah, go ahead and then as you finished your prayers and like you were heading downstairs, give me a cure cast level check to see if you can dispel the disease on both of them.
All right. 18.
Who's that on?
Silera.
All right. So remember, yeah. So Silera, you put your hand on Silera. You spread your positive energy through her. It sort of washes over her. And Silera, as you see Dorbin's energy, you feel it sort of warming your body from the inside. You see your skin sort of feels like it's burning, and then it feels very cold. And as it does, you see the little bits and pieces of your skin that had started to grow mold and these blisters on them. The blisters sort of burn and then freeze and peel off, leaving behind rather itchy but fresh new skin.
Oh. Thanks.
It was much more gross when you had the disease. Now you don't.
Yeah, but that whole process. Gross.
We've seen this. All right. I will try and see if I can get Sigus done.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Oh no.
So you put your hand on Siggis's shoulder, and Siggis, you sort of look at Dorban in his eyes, and you feel like he's determined to get you cured. And as you start to feel that sort of energy go through your body, you feel warmth spreading through like under your skin, and you feel your hands, your arms, your neck start to heat up, and then cold overcomes them, and you feel parts of your skin start to peel off, and then you feel your stomach sort of start to churn again in a way that hadn't happened for the past at least like 10 hours or so since the last time you were coughing mushrooms. And it starts to churn and churn and churn, and then you feel something start to go up, and before you know it, I need you to roll me a fortitude save.
Holy shit. All right.
Oh no, he's gonna yak mushrooms.
All over.
Everybody back the fuck up.
Right?
Cool plague number
so-
2, electric boogaloo.
So Sigus, you're trying to keep it down, and you feel like something is working its way up, and you start to like feel like you're suffocating for a moment as you have something stuck in the middle of your throat. Do you want to try and push it back down, or do you let it go out? Is the question. Sigus?
He's trying to push it down.
Right? I don't know where. Oh, Mike died. Okay. Yeah, you sort of grab your neck with both hands, and you try to push it down, and you feel it like go back down, and you can feel like something is like you ate too much. You feel like bloated, It's like not fully going down. You sort of feel that pain in your chest about where your solar plexus is, and it doesn't keep going down. Like you had too much bread in one go. Like you swallowed a little bit of a crust of a bread, but this bread has betrayed you. It is the worst kind of betrayal. It's like, yeah. You grab your water skin and you start to chug it down, and the rest of you see this happening, and you can see that where the skin peeled off on his hands and his neck.
Oh, I'm back.
Welcome back. And Says, you can feel this, like where the skin
Mhm.
peeled off on your neck and your hands, and now that you have pushed the.
Peeled off in like just. Is there a good way that happens, or is this only a bad ways?
What do you mean?
I don't know. When you're like the skin on my neck peeled off.
So like you
Is that
you
like the bad skin left, or like?
So this is
I don't
that's what I'm getting to. So like it feels
Mhm.
like you had over tanned and like your skin is peeling off.
Mm-hmm. Got ya.
And as it starts to peel on your hands, you can see it, and everyone else can see it on your neck as well. The new skin that is left over or revealed has this sort of like grayish tinge to it. Like it is most definitely not living flesh that is left. And you can see there's like the veins running through it have gone from being this sort of very light blue of disoxygenated blood to just like pure black.
Oh, it's no bueno.
I don't know if that one worked.
And Dorban, you can immediately tell that that didn't work.
It did not work. This this may be beyond us or beyond me. We want to go to the cathedral and see if they can help you.
I gotta
Yeah.
go to the cathedral anyway, right? So maybe make a bulk purchase.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for trying. I really appreciate it.
All right, now how much damage you guys got?
Damage?
Ability damage.
Oh, I got 2 negative levels, but I'm good aside.
Well, yeah, I can't fix it.
I
Yeah.
have 8.
Yeah, 4 and
Holy
4.
shit.
Between
Yeah.
2 scores?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. What about Silera?
Remember, you guys healed one overnight, right?
Ability damage, yeah.
Yeah, 1 point of ability
Yeah.
damage each. Yeah.
So 7.
No, so Sigis has 6 left over, and Salera, I don't know.
Oh, is it 1 per score?
Yeah, it's 1 point per score per day.
Oh, I didn't know
Hmm.
that.
Pretty sure it's 1 point per score per
Oh
day.
Yeah.
no, that's I like that ruling.
And I forgot to do it last time, so now 6.
Yeah, so you're at 3 and 3 essentially.
Yeah.
But
So-
I'll be honest, I'm dumping them into con first. So
So Salera, how are you doing on the ability damage department? Because I know you took some.
Yeah.
I do believe it was like you took Constitution and Charisma damage the same as Sigis, but you took less. I think it was 2 and 1. Or
Oh, I thought it was 2.
it has to have been at least 1 and 1, because that's the minimum you can roll on each of those
Oh, well,
die.
then it was 2 and 1.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you are at 1 point of Constitution damage then. Make sure that you keep track of that on your character sheet for next
Right.
time.
Yeah, it's on there.
It's got
Yeah.
the nice spot where you can dump the damage.
Dorban,
Alright,
you can tell that Sigis is doing much worse in terms of how fucked up he is. And Saler is almost cured.
We'll focus him first.
Sure.
So 3.
Right? Yeah, Sigis, your black veins and pale skin return to their normal color as you feel your body is sort of regaining some of its vitality. As Dorban sort of cleanses some of the damage that you have taken from the disease. but you still feel those mushrooms acting up inside of your stomach.
Another 3.
All right, that should put you at full abilities, Sigus. Sigus?
He's muted.
Oh.
That is amazing. You, my friend, are a good friend.
So like Dorman puts both hands on your shoulders probably during this casting, and like you feel 2 potent waves reinvigorating your body, making your heart like race again and push blood, fresh blood through your system, and you feel that sort of stiffness in your body. You feel the whispers in the back of your head sort of start to fade away a little bit, but you can still hear them whispering off in the distance. And they keep repeating some words, but you can't make out what they are anymore.
Okay.
All right, and now Celera.
Right?
Fixes your one ability that still has 1 point.
Yep, which should have been Constitution.
Yeah.
Right. So
Now
this would have
Dorman
been like
sleeps again.
just before you guys talked about having brunch, and probably that's the reason why Sigus wasn't immediately on board with, "Oh hey, bread, I want to eat it." If it's because his stomach is acting up.
Yeah. We'll try and get a little bit of soup in though.
Right. Yeah.
You know, other food groups are important.
One of the
beer is liquid bread.
They're making they have two soups on menu, and one of them you probably don't wanna have right now because they have either chicken soup or mushroom soup.
Definitely go with chicken.
I think we all just look at Sigus and we're like, chicken.
You should just fucking rail a 40 of liquor and just have it kill the mushrooms in your stomach.
I feel like if the Dorban juice didn't work, the regular juice isn't gonna work.
These are magic mushrooms.
But not those magic mushrooms.
It's magic mushrooms, but not the fun kind.
I
These are
feel
the
like
necromancy ones.
I feel like an entirely new person with like after being healed by Dorman. This is very exciting.
Now you know how Red always feels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the most recent one technically was your doing, but not your casting. But yes, it does feel much better after he's poked you a couple times, eh?
Yeah, Dorban just like wakes up, drops like his 5 top spells, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep again. I'll see you guys in 8 hours. Dicks.
I mean, honestly, that would be fantastic.
I mean,
would not miss out on what proceeds.
Dorman, you did just cast 4 spells in quick succession. So you are indeed like feeling a little bit drained. It's like bam, 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 invoke energy after wave of energy.
Yeah.
So it does feel a little bit tiring, almost like you were in combat kind of thing.
Yeah. You guys gotta stop this.
Y'all gotta stop getting fucked up, okay?
I promise you, I will work on this.
Well, I feel slightly hardier than I did before, but that may also just be me feeling like negative levels. I don't know, man. This is weird.
Yeah.
Does being short make you hardy? I think it's a thing, right?
Not usually. At least not that I know of.
I'm gonna pretend it's a thing.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
All right. So, you guys have brunch, and after you're sort of settled in, you guys are asked to pay for your rooms and asked how long you're gonna be staying around for, so that they know whether to keep the rooms for that long.
I'll just go ahead and I'll give her a gold for 3 nights.
Okay. And the rest of the rooms then? As well?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that with
Mhm.
our other one as well. I don't know if Ruben and Simon are squaring
Uh,
theirs for 3 as well, or if he's got a house.
We're actually going to be staying probably for a little bit longer. I don't know how long the
I'll do-
investigation will be taking, but we'll be staying for a few days afterwards to handle some family affairs. So, like, he takes it out his own money and like counts out a couple gold pieces and pays 5 gold pieces ahead of time.
Are we okay to keep paying up after that 3-day period's done if we find that we need the room for longer?
Yes, but I would ask that you inform me before your time is over whether you're going to be staying or not. Otherwise, I will have to see if rooms were in high demand or not before I can offer you to stay.
All right, we'll try to get back to you on that.
Right?
Okay, and then I'll give her for the 2 rooms. I'll just give her the 2 gold for us.
Yep. So the 4
Also-
room and the 2 room you've paid for 3
Yeah.
days. Yep. All right.
Was Simon paid us already?
He paid for 15 days essentially.
Oh, so
his.
then we paid
Oh.
up the double room too much. Then I think instead of because the quad was a gold, and I'm assuming the double's half or something like that, or are they both a gold?
No, it's both 1 gold because it's per room instead of per person.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter how many people are in the room.
Yep.
Got it.
But I think
Also,
Dorman was asking if he's paid us.
Yeah, for the trip down.
He
I
has
get
not. You're correct. He has not yet. And you probably, I'm imagining you're bringing this up after the waitress leaves. No, sorry, the
Yeah.
the attendant
So,
leaves.
since we're parting ways, if you want to pay us for our what we agreed on before we left, and
Yes. Sorry, it slipped my mind. What with the investigation and the lockdown.
completely
I-
understand.
Remind me, we had agreed on 50 gold, correct?
I wasn't there for the negotiations, and he will look to
Yes.
Red. I think who was.
I think.
I
Can
believe
I make
it
an
was with
intelligence
your
check?
friend Robin that I talked to. I want to say I had offered 50, but we didn't really finish up negotiations. I do believe he wanted a little bit more gold for the trip.
I think, given the flexibility and the means in which we got here,
I mean, honestly, we could just call it 50, and then we'll just keep in touch. And if something arises, we may need your help. Say something small. Obviously, we're not going to have you.
Right.
big, but-
Let's do it this way then. I'll put you 50 upfront, and then if you're leaving town and are in need of horses, let me know, and I'll exchange your horses for new ones and pay the difference.
All right.
sounds fantastic.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
sounds fair.
Well, I do believe the 3 of us still need to make ourselves present at the Halls of Justice, so we still have a few more hours of sharing our company, but
Sure.
let's settle that. And like he takes out the money, puts down a pouch with 5 platinum pieces in it. Those are the 50 that were promised, and we'll continue our joint ventures moving forward.
All right, sounds good. And Dwarvet will pocket all of it.
All right? Yeah,
And,
those bountiful 5 coins.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if anyone's gonna have a good safe purse, it's gonna be the cleric of the god of cities.
Yep.
True.
Yeah. Right.
Also,
Right.
for
Something,
logging treasure, should we do that like in? Do you want us doing that in the loot thing, or is that something that you
If-
want to do?
I would prefer it if you guys did it. So like every time that
Okay.
I say, "All right, you got this," or I usually do it on the Discord where we have the skirmisher notes. I will
Got
put
it.
like, "Oh, you got this and that," sort of thing, and you guys can add
Perfect.
it to the tracker so that you can keep.
The tracker. Awesome.
Yeah.
The idea of the
Alright.
tracker is that you guys update it as best it serves the party.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I just trust that you guys won't add or remove anything that should be there.
Mm-hmm.
At least not
Ring
intentionally.
of 3 wishes.
Sorry.
Got it.
Holy Avenger.
I'll take it.
Yeah. You guys sort out your money. You finish you have finished your brunch. Sort of pack up, get ready for the halls of justice. Is there anything else you guys would like to do before you depart?
Before we depart, I don't think so, but I know we want to hit after the halls of justice. We want to hit the old churchy church.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys leave the Crimson Raven and head out to the halls of justice, which unfortunately is once again on the other side of town. So this time you're going uphill, 300 feet of cliff.
Are the carriages running this time?
Yeah. So as you
Floating
hit the
desk.
roads, as you hit the streets of Magnimar, at noon, you see that the city, despite all the general unpleasantness that has been going on lately, the city is bustling. There's hundreds and thousands of people here. And the streets are like pretty packed, especially on the dockways. Merchandise is coming in and going out constantly. There's carriages walking the main streets, and most of them seem to be pretty busy, either fully packed or just like disembarking people and immediately taking new passengers. And like it feels lively to an extent that even makes you feel a little bit sick, especially for those of you that have been in Sandpoint for too long. It feels a little bit dizzying. There's sort of a constant sensation of movement that never stops, almost like you were in a sea, out like in a raging sea. But instead of water, there's people, and it never stops rushing back and forth. But indeed, if you wanted to grab a carriage, you could hope for the best and call one down.
I will flag one down.
How?
Tegus, you were about to.
I was just wondering how far away is the thing.
So you guys are all the way down here, in this area. If you see, there's a black building over here. I don't know if you can see it, right there.
The big
Yeah.
one?
This one over
Yes.
here. There's it's a little bit larger, sort of a three-shaped black building. That's where the Crimson Raven is. In fact, I'm gonna add a marker for it on the map. Oh, whoops. Meant to do.
Do we have a little red raven we can put there? That'd be good.
I'll get a little red raven icon done for next week. So you guys know.
Nice.
The building with a purple circle is the Crimson Raven. In fact, I'm going to change it to red, just that the right color of red.
Crimson.
The Crimson Raven. But yeah, that's
That'd
where
be
the
a pretty good superhero.
it does sort of sound like a superhero name. That is the Crimson Raven, and the Halls of Justice is all the way over here. With a,
Jesus.
yep, and that's 1,200 feet as the crow flies. Except you guys need to go to the main road, take the carriage, go around
That makes
this
sense.
way, yeah, all the way up there. The only way up into the upper districts is going all the way up here and then taking the ramp up, right? And then in order to get across the city, you probably would need to go all the way down here and across like so before you could get to the Halls of Justice. So it is a
It
long
would take
stretch.
you like hours.
Yes, on foot it literally took you about 2 hours to get from the gates to the Crimson Raven.
No point.
We're
Yeah,
already
we'll
halfway
put
through the
that
day. We should take a carriage.
Mhm.
Yeah. To be honest with you, for a second there, I considered literally flying. Probably not a great idea.
Same thing.
Gonna get shot down by the guards or something. They're all twitchy right now.
Yeah, that's why I decided against it.
Yeah, so Silera calls down a carriage, and like it takes the first attempt fails, but Silera, give me in fact a diplomacy check because you're trying to essentially compete with the people here trying to conduct business, and like
People part like the Red Sea for you.
yeah, it's like
beautiful. Yeah.
Silera probably does that thing where it's like everyone's like taxi, taxi kind of thing, and like then somebody goes like with a whistle kind of
Here, take
call
mine.
and like yeah, it just like cuts through all the noise and the carriage just sort of comes directly to Solera, stops in front of her, and the driver sort of takes a step down, opens the door, and offers the entry for the lot of you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome aboard. Where to?
Where to first?
Halls of Justice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halls of
Okay.
Justice.
Capital
Also
District
just-
it is. And he hits the reins, and as soon as you guys are in, he starts marching. And the carriage is drawn with 4 horses, and it's like driving through the rather crowded streets. But it'll take you about 15 minutes to get from here to the halls of justice on carriage. In the meantime, Robin, what are you doing with your day?
Well, I mean, he would have been training with Salazar for a bit in the early morning, like probably about 5. He probably started at about 5, I'd imagine. And Robin doesn't need to sleep. He doesn't get tired. He has to be reminded to go to sleep.
Right. Yeah, so you
So
probably
he's pretty
trained
much
with
at Salazar's. Yeah.
you probably trained with Salazar until dawn broke. You shared breaking of bread and prayers, and then he informed you that unfortunately, at some point, he does in fact need to rest, and he needs some natural rest. He's been working using a certain spell to avoid sleeping for quite a while now, but he needs to take a break from now and then.
Yeah. No, I get it. Is there anything I should be doing in the meantime, or should I just, you know, hang
Well,
out?
I would suggest that you continue reading those passages I told you about. You've been perhaps a little bit old school trained, in a sense. It's best if you take this time while we're not practicing to further your spiritual and mental training.
Cool. I'm gonna go do a read.
Good. I will see you in a few hours. Take the day. We'll meet up at midnight tonight here if you're still quite as energetic as you are right now.
Can do.
Good. Now, you're dismissed, Acolyte. And
And he salutes.
yeah, he'll
And
salute
then-
back and then head into the back end of the cathedral and sort of out an exit that you don't see. Yeah, so Robin, you're spending the rest of the day reading then?
Honestly, he'll probably find like I mean, he's been to Magnimar as a kid. Like, he was probably taken there because his dad owns all the trade routes and all that shit. So he's probably been around. He'd probably know like somewhere neat to hang out. He might, I don't know, he might climb on top of a roof of something and just like sit there and read a book.
All right. Yeah. You find out a good secluded spot for you to focus and feel comfortable in. Yeah. And in the meantime, the party reaches the halls of justice, and it looks like up on the front, the building has a little bit of a palisade surrounding it, surrounding even the gardens. And in order to gain access to the general area of the halls of justice, you need to go through what looks like a barricade. It looks like clerics and paladins are, and as well as the guards, are sort of lining people, preventing their access, and sort of slowly trickling them in. And as you sort of stop the carriage and get down, you see that the line is sort of stretching almost to the corner of the block. So there's about like 50 people in line ahead of you. Somewhat spread about, and there are guards sort of walking back and forth, trying to keep order on this line of people requesting an audience, probably. And from the looks of it, it seems like things are moving very slowly here.
Well, shit.
Well,
Well, while we're waiting to decide, let's get in line.
yep.
And then we can decide what we want to do.
How long is the line looking?
It looks like 50 people ahead of you, or thereabouts.
So we're basically not getting through that today if we try to wait it.
It looks like
Well-
one person is going through every like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
So that's
So
gonna be
we'll
like
get in
That's
like,
faster
what,
than
3
I thought it
hours?
was.
so 3 to 4 hours of waiting until you get into the halls of justice.
As much as that sucks, I think it might just be worth it to not rock the boat.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I
We,
agree.
we got in before we probably should have, so yeah, let's just chill on.
I know, Sigus, you're still hurting a bit. Do we want to run over to the cathedral while Solara and Dorbin wait in line, or do we all want to stick together?
Well,
I think you have to go that way to get to the cathedral.
I think we should just get the passes because, like, I think what the chances of if someone goes to the cathedral and gets kicked out of the city is going to slow us way more than just a couple hours waiting in this line.
Well, no, we're allowed to move around during the day. The passes are for moving at night and helping with the investigation, right?
I thought we had to go to the magistrate just because we never got like approved to come into the city.
Yeah.
You don't have approval
could be
to run investigations within the city. You don't have any authority,
Yeah.
and that's why you need
Gotcha.
to talk to him.
Yeah, so we're good to move around
Got
as
ya.
long as we are not breaking curfew, which we're not. So technically we're okay. But if you're more comfortable staying here, I'm fine staying here
Okay.
too. I mean,
Just for information, dare I ask where the cathedral is?
it's
Is it on-
right over here, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we're real close. Okay,
Is that
then
right? Is that right, Bosun? Sorry, I'm not 100% sure on that.
You saw it on your way here, the large cathedral, because it is
Okay,
it is
that
in
is
fact
what I
where Dorvin just pinged on the map, and
Got
you
it,
guys
okay.
went by the plaza, like you guys went through here, so you literally took the carriage right by the gate of the cathedral.
All right, so we
Okay,
know
yeah,
exactly
so-
where it is then.
and we're right here, right?
No,
No.
we're
Down here.
Oh.
Come on, ping, go. Oh, I'm on the wrong tool. Thank you. Right there. We're
Got
we're
it,
right
okay,
through
so-
the square.
Got it, but that's a short-ish walk. Not like short, but like in the grand scheme of.
Yeah, it's like a 20-minute walk sort of thing.
I'd
If
be
you
down
take
to
if you
go
take the
to
alleyways,
chapel.
it would be like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm down to go to the cathedral and then come back here, but I'll go wherever people want.
So are you?
why don't you and I take a walk then, Sigus? It's been a while since I took the alleys.
I would like to go and.
Well, I think we should all go or stay.
Oh,
Look, the two Punsy boys and I can handle sitting in line, and like you see Simon and Rin sort of like, you referring to it? Hey, yeah, we can stay in line. If you want to walk, you can go take a visit. I've been already here in Magnimar, so I know town. But if you wanna take a look. We save spot. It's all good.
That sounds great.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's
Thanks.
good
Yeah,
with
I
you
appreciate
guys.
it. Yeah.
We'll bring you back a hot dog or something. I don't know if hot dogs exist in this world.
Why
Um,
would
but
I mean,
hope so.
yeah.
Why would you
You
be
just want the
warming a
bread,
dog?
Dingus. That's all you want is the bread from the.
I eat things not other than bread. I just like bread.
You
a
just
lot.
like things that are a vehicle
Surrounded in
for
bread.
bread.
I like things that bread incorporates, like sandwiches. Great.
Yep.
Bread
Mhm.
bowls, ingenious.
I imagine like
Pastries,
Fantastic.
fantastic.
I just
Pizza,
imagine
down.
Stingers is saying this as you guys are walking away from the other thing. It's like
Yes.
Stingers just going through the list of things that are good with bread in them.
Oh, Sigus, what are your thoughts on confectionaries like cakes and stuff? Because they're kind of bready, but not quite.
Cakes can be good, but sometimes they have too much icing, you know?
Oh, agreed.
But like, I think
Totally agree.
white cakes sometimes can be disappointing, but can be very, have slight. When the flavors are slight, they're good. And then chocolate, you got to go like dark, dense flavor. It's all about your flavor, either hint or give me all of it.
I'll be honest with you. I always preferred pies.
Fair. They're okay.
My favorite part's the icing.
You can have mine, I think. Ugh.
Like I'll eat the frosting, and you can have the cakes.
Deal.
I'd also like to point out that's literally how me and Heidi eat things.
That's
awesome.
True. I like to say the bread is the vehicle for the icing.
The only
Fair.
time when the bread is the vehicle is in chips, because then you're really just trying to get that sauce.
So,
Oh, yeah. Oh god. Salsa.
Yeah.
So you guys are having a little bit of a light conversation, like generally enjoying each other's company. It seems as you're walking the beautiful streets of the Alabaster and Capital District, sort of like that main road that cuts between the two of them, and you start to like look for the right alleyway to take you to the cathedral, and the town during the day feels alive and beautiful, and it has this gorgeous view in the distance of the ocean of the Varisian Gulf that you can see sort of spreading into the infinity, and so it has that almost cyanish tinge to the water as the light sort of breaks through the surface and reflects a little bit. And there's that sort of brisk, fresh ocean breeze that you've slowly been getting used to over the past couple months. But here it sort of feels a little bit warmer, a little bit more dense, even. The air in general sort of feels dense. So whenever you get that breeze of ocean from the ocean, it feels a lot more refreshing. You guys take into the alleyways, making a shortcut, trying to work your way through the town. Probably finding a spot here and there that you wouldn't have thought of on the way. You see a shop in the capital district that is sort of hidden, tucked away, just in the corner of the halls of justice, but behind it, and it looks like it's some kind of like tucked away, hidden little bookshop where they are selling not just mundane books, but also magical books. They are sort of advertising scrolls and trinkets for those interested in arcane and historical knowledge. And on that same street, sort of as you guys go down the road. And,
Can we get the name of that shop?
sure. Just let me find my notes on the actual name because I just remember what it was. No, what it was called.
Way to troll the GM all night, guys.
That is what
It's okay.
happens when I know the gist of what the thing is, but not what it's called. That is my bad.
Bob Joe's Magic Shop.
No. It actually has a name, so I don't want to fuck it up.
Oh.
Magnimar. Where is it? I can't find it in the next minute, I'm gonna say it is the book magic shop, and we'll figure out what the name is, and I'll
Alright.
tell you what it is afterwards.
Good
Could
enough.
I also get a marker on the map as to where it's located? Because
Yes.
Dorvin would literally be marking this on our town map that we got.
Yeah. Boop. Boop. I'll mark it on a lovely cyan color. Right there.
That's
Oh.
my color.
Oh, nice.
That is not the marking that I wanted to do. Come on. Work with me, roll 20. Come on.
Roll 20 says no.
Right.
Hard enough.
Come on. What I want. That
What you really
little
want.
square shop right over the name of Capital District.
Oh, yeah,
There you go.
yeah. I
Nice.
see it.
Cool.
Yeah, so that is the for the time being, it will be the magical bookshop. As soon as I can find my notes on what the name of the actual building is, I'll hit you up with a detail.
The sign's too old to read. You have to go into ask.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind that this is a fantasy medieval time, so most of the shops don't have their name on the sign. It's just like a symbol that you would
Yeah.
identify, because you don't know if the person speaks the regional dialect of Common, or if they speak Shalaxian, or if they speak Ulfin, or if they're going to be only speaking in Elven, Dwarven. So you got to be sort of able to
Now-
appeal to everyone.
I do have a question regarding that.
Yes.
Would the exception be made for a bookshop that's involved with languages?
No, because I just gave you the reason why you would. Because
Okay,
you
I
need
guess.
to appeal to a lot of languages, not just the people who are illiterate. Although most
Yeah.
signs don't have words because they need to appeal to the illiterate. Bookshops still need to use symbols because you need to appeal to a population that, despite speaking mostly Common, has a lot of people who speak different languages.
And the people who speak different languages may be the ones who need books in those specific ones.
Precisely. Not only not to mention that usually the people who don't speak Common are usually people who are here from afar, which means they are traveling, and traveling means you have money usually. So if you have money and you're traveling and you can't speak the local dialect, it means you probably would be interested in the merchandise being offered here. The point being, though, you see the little shop in this corner, and it looks like it's pretty well packed with both mundane and magical items, mostly from the looks of it, regarding the acquisition and renewal of knowledge, and some of it pertaining to the arcane arts. So they do advertise the fact that they are selling scrolls, as you see on the display case, prominently between a book on ancient Thessalonian history and a book on the advantages of city planning. Is a scroll case which has the symbol of a fireball.
Ooh,
And
fire.
they're sort of advertising those three items as the like, oh, these are the three things that are like top sellers.
Hey man, it's a good book.
The Book of Fireball, best book.
It's fire.
Oh.
It's lit.
I was talking about this city planning and how
Yeah.
infrastructure can improve commerce.
Oh, I was looking at the fire picture.
Magnimar needs to read this. Having such a bottleneck into a wealthy area is definitely holding down their GDP.
Okay, let's go, Libertarian Larry. Come on.
Hey, could I get that book from you?
Yeah, here, man.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Come on, we got diseases to cure.
I'm a priest of Abadar. I literally go around making cities, dude.
Hey, man.
Okay, yes, you do, but I also want to stop feeling like I got hit in the top of the head.
I mean, like, he's pretty focused on this one thing, but it's definitely interesting information to know. For sure. Enjoy.
Right. Yeah, so you guys are walking. Dorman probably is like every now and then, like taking a glance, or at the beginning, taking a glance, I imagine, at the book, like, taking a.
Actually, he would just put it in his bag, and he would continue to kind of map out the course, kind of make sure that the alleyways, because it was said that it was not a detailed map, so he's going to be filling in detail as we walk.
Certainly. So what it looks like is the little road that goes from the cathedral to the halls of justice seems to be the sort of high-end market road of the capital district. This is sort of like central to all of the high-rise area of Magnimar. It's like a very well transited road, and it seems like people have taken to make it into selling magic items, but also books, jewelry, high end furniture, and other types of craftsmanship. So this is like where the nobles come to purchase those kinds of items.
We might want to take a swing through here at some point. Get you guys all blinged out.
I mean, I like shopping.
I mean, you could take your time to shop here if you wanted to.
No, we kind of have.
Let's get everyone fixed first. That
Yeah.
probably is going to be expensive.
Yeah, I will point out that like as you are window shopping, you do see like here and there are some shops that do have a price tag on their items on display, and there are items that terrify you at the cost of them, because somebody's selling like a set of jewelry for 10,000 gold pieces,
What the shit?
and
That's
it is
amazing.
a full set of earrings, a left and right hand ring, and a necklace, all of which are sporting diamonds. And we're
That
talking
right
like
there is
the
why
necklace is one of
thieves
those
exist.
rainfall necklaces. So like it looks like there are about 15 or 16 strands, each of which has like two tear shaped diamonds encrusted into it that are hanging from the centerpiece of the necklace. Um, I think.
My birthday's coming up. I mean, not related. I just wanted to let you know.
So, Lara, the only way we're getting that is with the 5-finger discount, and I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't think you can get that with a 5-finger discount.
10-finger discount, whatever. Either way, that kind of stuff.
It'll likely
is the
cost
reason
your
why
hand.
that kind of
It's not a
the
bracelet,
reason
so
why
it's
thieves
fine.
exist. Like it's not.
Yeah. So you guys are probably taking a little bit longer than you took essentially took a shortcut, but ended up taking as long as if you hadn't taken a shortcut, as you're sort of window shopping sort of thing. But eventually you do see the cusp of the cathedral sort of cutting through all of the high-rise buildings. The cathedral just overshadows all of them. And as you sort of come around the corner, you see the buildings surrounding the cathedral, or sorry, immediately surrounding the cathedral, much lower in height. And you can sort of see the space open up a little bit. There's a little bit of a courtyard around the cathedral, and you do see a lot of clerics talking to people or talking amongst themselves, going in and out. What looks like helping, distributing food to people on the streets that are coming in to request some aid.
Torben, you want to take the lead here?
Sure.
I mean, I think you're probably going to be the best to talk our way into this place, or talk our way around it anyway.
We're just here for service. The cathedral should offer, so I don't think it really matters who talks. But I will gladly, as a man of faith, be first here.
It'd make me more comfortable. I just have never spent much time around churches.
Also, how are we supposed to meet up with Robin?
I assumed we would just run into him, but I always forget how big Magnimar is.
I'm not really sure how we are going to find him.
I hope the guards didn't catch him and he's not sitting in the dungeon or something.
Yeah, we should probably check on that.
I might be able to find it with the spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If we also can't find it by the end of today, I can pick a bunch of like locate objects.
I've got locate object prepared.
Okay.
Look at you.
He's
Flying down.
he's got that longsword that I
He's a
had,
man
so
with a
that
plan.
should be easy to picture.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do we want to do this now, or do we want to wait until after we get the license?
Well,
Let's totally wait.
let's get healed, and then while we're
Yeah.
waiting in line again, we can do that.
All right, sounds good.
So you guys approach the cathedral, and sure enough, as you're getting close to the entrance, there's a cleric that is about to go in, and like he almost runs into the group and says, "Oh, sorry, sir, please go ahead and welcome. Are you here to hear the word of Ayamade?"
No, I'm actually a cleric of Abadar, but we do come seeking your services and maybe a little bit more. We have some news of something that needs higher level divine magics to rid itself of.
Let's see. You seek the inheritor's help then. Please go ahead, go right in. I'm not going to be able to help you with that, but you should talk to the head cleric. He should be giving a sermon in 5 to 10 more minutes, so you might have to wait until after that.
All right. How long is the sermon?
Well, it's the first of the afternoon, so should be about 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Give me a minute. Base topics. No, it is definitely 20 minutes. It's a little bit of a shorter one today. People are a little bit anxious with going done, so we're trying to keep it calm.
If you got paladin, we could probably talk through the assistants paladins. We could talk through the assistants with them. I'm sure they'd be interested as well.
I'm certain one of the paladins will be assisting in the sermon, so might be in luck there. Otherwise,
two birds, one stone. That works.
Yep.
Otherwise, you will find that the front gate, the front entrance to the cathedral, does always have a pair of our most devoted paladins guarding the doors.
Now, this may be kind of random, but have you seen, and I'll just describe Robin. Height,
Yes, it's like
scars on the face, all that kind of stuff.
Crazy tattoos all over the place.
Oh, crazy. Now that you mention the tattoos, I do believe brother Robin. He was he.
Wait.
Brother.
Brother Robin?
Yeah, what do you mean, brother Robin?
He's he was trying to be a paladin when he's talking.
Yeah,
He
but
was-
doesn't that take like years?
He completed his his ceremony to become an acolyte just this morning, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
He is
I always forget that he doesn't sleep.
he is quite impressively dedicated. He's spent the
Huh.
entire night and day reading the holy texts.
He does have magic.
Well, that answers the Robin question.
I believe I saw
Do you
him.
know where he is now?
Yeah, I believe I saw him reading something on the rafters. He seemed quite comfortable up there.
That
Sounds
sounds
right.
about right.
Honestly, it's kind of surprising with how many raptors he's fallen through, but
Mhm.
Well, I mean, he likes being up high, though. I think it's the visibility.
He's like a bird, like a robin. Come on, guys. Fuck.
No, he's like a cat.
Guys, fuck. God. Okay.
No,
Alright.
Thing is,
you're a cat now.
Yeah, you cat now.
Sigus will ask Korax if he wouldn't mind subtly going and looking for him.
Yeah,
If he's
sort of
on
like
the rafters.
crawling their way out of from your coat. They sort of like look around,
Mhm.
and it's like shiny, so much
Yeah.
silver and gold everywhere. Oh!
You may want
Starts
to keep
foaming at the mouth.
you may want to keep your beak off that, my friend.
Yeah, you
These
can
these
look,
ones don't
but-
take nicely.
Don't touch.
They like
Okay.
fire. Just a heads up.
I'll try not to. I'll try not
Do
to
I
take anything. Ah!
Knowing him, like, is he totally gonna steal stuff?
You can tell that he's definitely gonna try and like peck some things. Like he's tempted to, and like he's gonna try and resist the urge. But the base animal instincts are something he's
Mhm.
trying to struggle against.
Yeah. Don't peck anything, and I'll give you a nice little treat later.
Mm, fine.
You missed all the shinies in the market district. You weren't even
It's-
looking.
Get you some
Oh,
nice warm
why?
meats.
It's too bright. Too bright out there. Oh.
Oh, you big baby.
Ah. And with that, like he'll like crawl all the way out of your coat and like awkwardly flap its wings as it's trying to push himself out of the coat and glide down to your feet, and then starts to take a little bit of a running speed as they flap their wings and take off and start to fly on the inside of the cathedral. Um, upon which time you see like a couple other crows take off and like start to fly with him inside of the cathedral. And you hear like an echo of a conversation going on in common coming from the crows. But it's like random words being repeated over and over.
Got it.
So you hear like hi, 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 hi.
And then one's
Huh.
just like, murder.
Found the one that's with the party of murder hobos.
Yeah. And Robin, sure enough, you see suddenly 3 crows flying, and then it's 4, and the murder lands next to you. As you recognize a rather strangely blue feathered chested raven is leading the pack of 4, and is the first one to land next to you. And you
Oh.
recognize Corvax.
Robin sort of just like puts away the book and is like, how's it going, bud? And he's sort of like leaning up against like a wooden beam, and he's like got his legs stretched out along another beam. And he's like, hey, how's it going?
Hello? I'm good, all right? There's a lot of shinies here. A lot of shinies.
I know you're fighting that instinct too, right?
Yes. Like you see him like pecking his own wing, like underneath the wing, trying to fluff the feathers, but it like looks like a twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in this one together.
Right. Right.
Two birds of a feather, so to speak.
A robin and a raven. I don't know.
Right. Right. Siggis is looking for you. Ah.
All right. And he sort of like puts the closed book away into the fanny pack, which is now empty, which is fantastic and not filled with evils. And he's like, sweet. And he just sort of like rolls off the side and just like grabs it in such a way that his legs touch the beam, and he just starts walking down the beam.
Yeah. And as you're walking down the beam, you hear the flapping of wings as the murder of crows takes off again. And moments later, you guys are, as you walk in and are starting to sort of peruse the area, it looks like a lot of people are already streaming in and sitting down at the benches, starting to get ready for the sermon. You see 2 clerics and a paladin by the main altar, sort of all standing very stoically, getting ready to spread the holy word of Ayamade. And it, like, beyond being a house of God, or in this case, a house of this goddess, this building itself is a masterpiece of both architecture and art. There's vitraux that are depicting the different battles and hardships that Ayomade took in her life and godhood as well. In fact, one of them depicts a moment during the battles taken that took place at the World Wound, as Ayomade and a group of paladins are fighting off against demons. Well, not demons, but creatures of Robagug's creation. Um, yeah, you sort of see the sort of majestic building, and you see once again the murder of crows starting to descend as you're perusing the area, and they land in front of Sigis. And Sigis, you see Cormax and go, "Found him! It's coming! Coming!" And then when he says that, yeah, when he says that, the murder of crows behind him go like, "It's coming! It's coming! It's coming! It's coming! It's coming!"
Thank you, all of you? Question mark. Thanks, Corax. You're a good friend. I'll pick up something nice and warm for you on the way back.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. And he sort of like turns his head to look at the murder of crows, looks back at you and says, I'll go socialize. See you in a bit.
Have fun. I'll whistle for you when we're done.
Yeah.
We're
And
heading out.
yeah, he turns around and takes off with his new posse of friends, flying off into the distance. Well, they sort of circle around over the heads of people inside of the church before landing in one of the beams.
As long as they aren't pooping on anyone, I think we're okay.
As long as they're not pooping on me, I think they're okay.
Yeah, so a few minutes go by. Well, a minute and a half. And Robin, as you're descending from the side of the building, are you trying to make yourself visible to everyone who's like sort of waiting for the sermon, or are you taking the shadow side of the beam?
I mean, just intrinsically, he takes the shadow side.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're you're sort of like walk down to the point where the beam is separate from the wall, and it sort of like starts to have the step shape the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then you take to the shadows and walk the rest of the way down. And as you're going down, you can see that your party is they're sort of talking amongst themselves and talking to the crows and taking a look around, and you can walk yourself down and meet with your company.
Oh, well, hey, look what the cat dragged in. They still letting these
Okay.
guys in here? What's going on?
Oh,
I'm
hey,
surprised
brother.
they're here.
Ah, I know, right?
Yeah.
They didn't really have a choice.
I
All
think they
things
had a
considered.
choice. I think they just went with it.
Yeah, they made the right
Congratulations.
one. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And he just like sort of flutters his nice little tabard of Iomade with the flaming sword on it. Yeah, look at that.
Look at
And you
you.
got 2 long swords now.
Sure do. Yeah. So what's going on? Took you guys a
Well,
while.
We were just coming to
I
get
mean,
cured, but
It was a journey.
I can't fix Sigus, so we need to build it.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, really? Well, good news. Somebody here is going to be able to fix this because honestly, those items that we had in our possession that we wanted to get rid of, they got nuked. They're gone. Cleansed. Bam. Done.
wait, they
What?
they got rid of the phylactery thing?
Dude, don't use that word so openly and so loud. They're like commoners in here. Come on, dude. You're going to scare them.
They don't know what that is. I didn't know
Yeah.
what that is until you told me.
I guess. Anyways, yes, they've been poofed out of existence. Also, a detachment of clerics and paladins has been sent to the Foxglove Manor, and I've told them everything that they need to look out for, and they seem more than confident that they're going to be able to get rid of whatever the fuck is going on there.
Awesome.
Cool.
Sounds great.
You work
It's
fast.
been very productive.
Yeah, I figured,
Well, we
walk
have
in.
struggled to get inside.
Yeah, I mean, but you're here. That's what matters, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, also, and he's gonna like get in real close, and he's sort of gonna like go. He can't really lean into Red or Dorbin because they're not tall enough. He'd sort of like lean into Sigus and be like, "Yeah." So, and he's gonna gesture for everybody else to sort of come closer and be like, "So you know that that whole 7-pointed star biz? There are very obvious followers of that group here. I happened to bump into one of them on the way. Wasn't able to catch him. He just ducked my punch and dipped off. But I sort of sent the guards off in the right direction. And I know sort of what their uniform looks like, so I know what to look out for. I'll show you guys later.
I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised you didn't take some from.
No, he was more preoccupied with whatever his business was. He didn't really seem too concerned with me or robbing me. It's more like,
No, I'm saying I'm surprised you didn't take something to help us buy.
oh, I did. I took his uniform. I know what his uniform looks like. Just
Took
because,
it?
I mean, I didn't physically steal it. I still took it, and I know the information now. They're here.
That is a very responsible way of looking at this, Robin.
Hey, second chance, right? Oh,
No
also
kidding.
I caught fire this morning. That was neat.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Who
so
am
I
I
had to get
talking to right now?
Brother
Robin?
Robin.
And I think he has a real string of bad luck. First he gets cursed, now he's on fire.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
I'm
it
sure
didn't
was a
burn me
good
though.
fire.
Yeah, it was the good
Fire
stone.
on the days. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, when we get a chance, we should really rebalance the party funds. After you ran off there, we had to make a couple purchases so I wouldn't get turned into a pincushion if we ran into more ghouls.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Hold on. And he's just gonna reach into the bag and he's gonna like grab your 2 platinum bars because he has all of Red's stuff inside his
Yeah.
bag right now.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be like, "Here you go. Also, I've got all of Fosla stuff too. If we want to sit down and identify that in the park or something."
I was actually gonna suggest that. I know none of us are really partial to war razors, but that thing could probably go for a price if it is magic.
Yeah.
I
I
would
could-
also like to
I-
note that we probably should do it in our rooms at the
Yes.
Crimson Raven.
Yes, for sure. I'm just
That's
saying,
fine.
generally.
I can take a look
I
at
mean-
that tonight.
There's a garden out back that we can go to if you want.
Let's
Well-
stick in a room. The walls have eyes in this city. I used to be one.
A wall or an eye?
Guess.
Probably
yes.
a wall.
The answer is yes.
He does his best impression of a wall with his hands on either side of his face,
Nah, it's
trying to
too
make
short.
it very flat.
Nah, it's too short. It's more like a fence.
That could be a hedge.
Uh,
Like
A
a,
bush.
maybe in autumn.
a molehill? I don't know.
I mean,
I'm
that's.
getting
I
used
mean,
to
you're
some-
underselling yourself if you're saying molehill. You're more like a little stone fence because you're gray.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Like one of those ones in a farmer field.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, you guys here for? Oh yeah, you guys are here for Sigus, right?
Yeah, hear him.
Mhm.
I mean, we were also here to tell him about everything you already told him about. I guess we're going to do that part.
Yeah, so you beat us to that punch, but
Who's the main
Sigus and
one?
I still need to be taken care of.
Okay, so I know that they're doing a sermon in like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
but I can head around back and see if there's anybody that's just hanging out and see if they can help you out.
Sure.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Look at you
sure.
having an in.
Yeah. We got,
Yeah,
we got like
this is a
we got like
sweet
an
inn.
hour or two before
Okay.
we get back to the.
Oh yeah, we're getting logged at the Hall of Justice so we can be part of the investigation. You missed that whole thing.
Yeah.
So we're part of the murder
Oh,
investigation now.
Yeah.
right. Technically, I'm in the city illegally.
No.
Just
I mean-
let's not think about that too much right now. If
Mhm.
you
I'm
get-
sure if it comes up, I can just be like, "Hey, look, I'm with the church. Whatever. They
Well-
lit me on fire and I didn't die, so
we also
I'm
told
alright.
the captain that you were also with us. So.
Yeah, we just said you were in the city already, so
Yeah.
I think you're cleared
Yeah,
retroactively.
they don't. Yeah, they don't like have a like they don't have you carrying around anything. So
Yeah. We don't have permission slips. The only time you need it is if you're out after curfew, and that's what we're working on getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
So you
Okay.
likely won't have to answer for what you did until we leave.
Okay.
'Cause,
Yeah,
I think
sounds
there's
good.
logs of who
That's a
comes in.
problem. That's a problem for future Robin. Present Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she gets me. I
Hmm.
like yo, you saved my life. You fucking understand my, yo, we're vibing, yo.
Yep.
Hell yeah, fist bump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Also, the head paladin Salzar, super chill. He's sleeping right now. But I'm gonna go to the back and see if I can grab somebody.
Oh, did you find Erica?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what happened with Erica? And did
Marcus was laid to rest appropriately.
Awesome.
Good.
Erica has been inflicted with some kind of madness, and
what?
I'm not entirely sure what the situation with that exactly is, but they called her former paladin Erica.
Wait, she's been
So-
she's been thrown out?
Since she came back to the city, apparently she's, and Robin leans in, apparently she's murdered like 2 people in cold blood. I don't know what's going on with that.
Well,
But
she must have a good reason. I mean, she's not
I mean, was she
The-
framed?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was she framed?
the lady we met. It wouldn't have done that.
I mean, that's what I said. That's why when I was telling all the zone of truth thing. Oh, by the way, they hit me with a zone of truth. Man, that felt uncomfortable. But
I am surprised you made it in after that.
fortunately, all the questions they were asking were questions that I wanted to answer truthfully. And even if I didn't want to answer them truthfully, I probably would have anyways. But yeah, so I don't really, I think it's kind of sensitive. She's still alive. I think they're holding her, or maybe she got away. I can't really remember. I was kind of too hyped up on the fact that I just became a fucking acolyte. But yeah. All right, let me head around back. You guys get seats.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, so the lot of you go take a seat on the sidelines of the sermon. Sort of you still get a good view, but the place is pretty packed. In the meantime, Robin, you head to backstage, where the most of like the holy waters and similar instruments are kept, and you see there are about like 10 clerics in here and a good 4 paladins, all of them sort of off, not quite off duty, but like they're not sporting their armor. They're like wearing robes and tabards, and
Yeah.
they're like casual clothing. And they're making sure that inventory is up to date, casting some blessings on the waters, and similar preparations that need to be done on a daily basis. And they sort of like see you coming in, and they sort of nod and then go back about their business.
So I want to be that new guy, but some of my friends are here and they're just looking for some spell casting. Do I have to wait till after the sermon with them, or is there somebody that can do that now? I don't know.
I can help you. What do they need?
Well, one of them has mushrooms growing in his stomach and he keeps throwing up mushrooms, and we're pretty sure it's a disease of some kind. And then another one was brought back to life. So he's feeling a little drained.
If they have the funds, I can help them with that.
I'm sure they do.
Sure. I might need help. Let's see. Available around this time. So like looking around, trying to spot the different clerics in there, and you see one of the clerics who's a woman with very long hair, like about waist length, sort of turns around, sees that he's like trying to spot, gives him a nod, comes over. Hello. What is the problem? There you seem to be.
Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead. Please explain it.
I was just gonna say, guys vomiting mushrooms, and somebody was just brought back to life. You know, the usual.
Oh, Sure, I can help with that. Okay, let's get going then. Okay. Like
Yeah,
the
they're
two of
just
them
over
gesture.
here.
As soon as you come out and like they notice that the place is very packed, they sort of turn to you, Robin, and go like, actually, let's take it outside, and we can handle it from there. We'll
Sure.
go fetch the patients, and we'll see you outside.
Yep.
And the two of
And
them head out.
yeah, Robin will just sort of like squeeze his way through all the people because he's all dexterous and shit, and he'll just show up and be like, "We're going to the garden."
It's actually pretty impressive, but like you don't really need to push your way through people. People seem to make way for you as you're coming towards them. It's like, oh, hey, like they sort of give you a nod as you pass them by. But yeah,
I'm
you
not
reach.
sure. Robin's like, "I'm not sure if that's uncomfortable or." Anyways, we're going to the garden.
Oh, thank goodness! I was not sure what to do in a church sermon. There's so much standing and then sitting and then standing and singing. Like jeepers.
Yeah,
I don't know if that actually happens, but still.
No, not usually.
not usually. At least the sermon hasn't really probably gone into it. Like people are still coming in, so they sort of have been mostly calling for a moment of quiet and getting ready for some reflection. Try and get to close your eyes and feel first and foremost yourself and start to open to the idea of what we're about to talk about, and like that kind of sensation, like that's what the cleric is like, trying to get everyone in the mood essentially. um, but yeah, Robin, you've reached your party, you get them to go out into the garden, and sure enough, the two clerics sort of look around and says, look, we're what some of the things that we need to do are unfortunately quite expensive in terms of material components. Um, and as much as we would like to help people, we can't do it at the cost of the church itself. So we'll need from whoever it is that requires our services, um, that they collaborate with the material components for this spell at the very least.
All right, fork her up, boys.
How much do we need?
It is a very much not a trivial amount. If in terms of removing the effects of a brush with death, well, we are talking about pure diamond dust, and it should be around the cost of 1,000 gold pieces.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And the mushroom thing? I think that one's more critical.
The mushroom thing, well, usually it's more so the fact that we won't be able to use that uh, power for the rest of the day. So we would prefer it if you made a small donation to the church in terms of helping others that we will not be able to help. Whatever your amount
Okay.
you can donate in that regard will be most welcome.
I see.
So whatever you feel inclined to gift to others is whatever we will charge you for this spell.
Okay.
Now, for that, this may be presumptuous of stuff, but I am a follower of Abadar. I would definitely be willing to lend my service to the church whenever I'm able to. We're actually also trying to help the city with the investigation. So I probably won't have a lot of free time, but I will definitely be able to help. Would that be sufficient as a payment for you? Because I tried to cure him this morning, and it just didn't go well. So we're just hoping that somebody was maybe more focused on that study of spell would help, and then I can help in other ways.
I'm happy to help.
It is. It is less so. Well, if you would be willing to stick around for after the sermons and lend your god's powers to healing the sick and the wounded, we would be more than happy to accept such an exchange.
Yeah, that works for
Yeah,
me.
he's real good at that.
All
He's
right.
been keeping us alive like you wouldn't even believe.
Yeah.
We love
honestly.
to die.
Word.
They keep
Some
trying to
of
kill
us more
themselves,
than
but,
others.
I mean, to be fair, you didn't do it, so.
Yes.
No, that's what I'm saying. I am probably the most guilty.
Right.
You're
Well,
the only
that,
person who can feed me.
I would suggest that you veer away from things that tend to bring you to this spot. And that, by that I mean sickness and death is most definitely should be avoided. However, if you'd like me to at least attempt to cure you, please. And she sort of gestures for Sigus to step forward.
I will.
Sure. Yeah. She puts
Robin will go get a bucket.
Yeah, you run in. You know where the buckets are because you've seen people cleaning
Yeah.
while you were here.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to make it in time, whether this happens or not. So she's going to put a hand on your shoulder, Sigus, and she's going to start channeling positive energy. And I'm going to want pick one of you of the party, and whoever gets chosen is going to be the one rolling the d20 for her.
I would also like to do spellcraft to try and figure out what she's casting, or if it's just remove disease.
Sure.
But
give me a spellcraft, and who of you would like to roll for this effect?
I'll just roll a d5
What do you mean a d5?
for each person.
Oh, and
Oh.
add it up.
It's Heidi.
1, 2, 3. No, it would be Sigus because
Yeah,
I'm
Sigus.
not included in that. So
Oh.
Robin, Dorban, Red,
I was
Silara,
gonna say,
Sigus.
I
Oh,
have
then it
my
should be a
cursor
D6.
right over D20, so I can click it. Clicky
so
click.
it'd be me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sigus, roll me a
Makes sense.
d20 to
Which
see
makes
how
sense,
powerful
okay.
this effect is
Which
upon
is
you.
You're in charge of your own fate.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
fuck it up.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't fuck it up.
Hey! Yeah, so you feel her energy resonate with you, and it spreads through your body. And once again, you feel that sort of warmth spreading through your body as the energy channels through you. And you feel your stomach suddenly start to burn in a way that you sort of feel like it's a very bad case of heartache until it suddenly almost like freezes over, and you can feel something just like churning for half a second, and then you feel very gassy, like you're about to burp, and
Got
aside from that, it's like gone, like it's properly gone. You can feel your stomach sort of start to deflate and like get a little bit tighter. You can feel that sort of numbness of something having been burnt away, and your muscles and your organs finally relaxing a little bit. But you still feel that sort of sensation of acid reflux, essentially. And she looks at you, she looks at the companions and says, well, I believe that worked. How are you feeling?
I feel much better, I think.
Good. Good. I'm glad I was able to assist you. What
You
are
very much
we...
appreciate it.
What should we do about your other companion then?
All right, as a party, what kind of funds do we have?
Well,
I just gave Red 2 platinum bars worth 1,000 gold together.
and that is my money.
That's exactly what is required as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I
think
also
we-
have 2 platinum bars on me, correct?
We
Mhm.
all should except for Sigus, I think.
Yeah,
Alright.
because I just think we haven't updated our money in a while. In terms of how much we actually have.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't think we've gotten any in a while.
Well,
the
that's
only thing
not
that we have
true.
is Aldern's possessions, right? We haven't identified those yet, but I can
Yeah.
tell you back that we each have the 2 platinum bars, except for Sigus, who gave them to Red. And then
Yeah.
in the chest with the rusty scythe, there's another 800 gold and 13 platinum pieces. So there's another 1,000 in there, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Gotcha.
mean, yeah, I think we should.
Cool.
We'd be around. Do we have to go get the spell component, or can we just give them the money? They just spell they already have.
From the way that she's explained it, you can give her the money and they can sort it out later. Like they probably
Okay.
keep some materials at hand.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's reasonable.
Then if you dispose of the funds and you would like us to provide the service, we can do it right now.
Oh shit, you guys didn't eat the bucket? It worked?
Yeah.
Did.
Oh,
She's really good.
nice. Sweet.
Thank you very much, my friend.
And Dorman will, I guess, try to shake her hand as like a thank you.
Hmm.
I
She
appreciate you helping out us or helping us out.
it was not much trouble at all. Should I handle your companion then now?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as everyone's okay with paying for this. I know I'm a continuing burden at this point.
It's all right.
No,
Stop
you've helped
contracting
us out
diseases,
so
dude.
many times.
Just stop contracting diseases. All right.
Well, technically, a disease didn't kill me.
I mean,
that was a big scary thing.
yeah.
Listen, you've killed so many evil stuff for us. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
True.
mean,
well,
you've killed like 2 demons and a lot of other things. So
Yeah, we've got a pretty good track record,
I
really.
think that, and then on top of that, you dying and then coming back, call it even.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try not to die again.
We're
We'll
investing
stick
in
with
you.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
Okay, let's
maybe now
let's
you're
make this
smaller,
happen
you'll
then.
be a smaller target.
Yeah.
This is true. I am a smaller target. Okay. And I'm assuming we hand over the
Yeah,
the
like
two
Yeah, you
platinum
have them.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
So-
no, I think. Oh yeah, you just gave them to me. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you literally-
so you hand them over, and the female cleric sort of takes them and sort of gestures, sort of passes them over to her companion, and then puts a hand over your very small shoulders, Red, and she says, "You have good friends. They care about you." And she begins to chant a spell. If you'd
It's
like to
true.
say
We
something.
are pretty great friends.
Better than I
Yeah.
deserve.
Yeah, I mean, we try.
Red, you're gonna feel your body suddenly almost becomes weightless as you feel the air around you sort of start to almost like energize. You feel like there's something almost like static in the air, and you see her hair sort of begin to lift up with like passive static. And as this energy sort of starts to flow between the two of you, you feel your shoulder where her hand is feels like a small discharge happens. And as it spreads through your body, you feel a sudden rush of air into your lungs, and your heart begins to beat faster. And you feel, once again, your body sort of becomes more nimble and flexible. And you feel like your soul was just lifted of a restraint, of a weight that was carrying it, pulling it down. So you may go ahead and remove one negative energy level. Sorry, one negative level. You still have one left. And unfortunately, and as she says, I believe that did work, but fortunately, you should take the time to adjust. Rushing over these things will have side effects on you.
So is that like a come back tomorrow for the rest of it, or is that like come back in a month for the rest of it?
Come back in a week for the rest of it. And unfortunately, I will need some more to obtain some more materials once we do the second half of the treatment. It is not a cheap affair, cheating death.
I can see that. Well, we'll have to work on getting those material components in the meantime, but I appreciate you helping. I do feel a lot better. It's like I'm more comfortable in my skin.
Well, good. Good. I'm glad that we were able to help you. Now, if you don't mind, we should head back into the cathedral for at least the end of the sermon. You are more than welcome to come join us and hear the word of our goddess.
Well, I think we probably owe it to you guys after you helping us out. Or, well, owe it to your goddess, I guess.
Don't. You are welcome to join us. Don't do it out of a sense of debt. Do it out of sense of perhaps respect for her work, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down. He carries the bucket inside. I mean, that's what I'm here for, right?
Okay, well, we might as well.
There are more eloquent ways of putting it, Brother Robin, but you are correct. That is why you're here. And for that, she sort of heads indoors with the other cleric and sort of holds the door for the rest of you.
Red's gonna go in.
Right? What about the rest of the party?
Yeah, Heather.
Right. Right, and I think that's a good point to call it a night, as you guys enjoy, or well, at least attend the sermon of the followers of Iode, and are standing on a much better position, at least body-wise, having healed both body and soul for the time being. You have readied up yourselves for what may come ahead.
You're ready for your next butt clapping, boys. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You have
Pretty
healed up,
much.
rested up, and are now ready for your next dungeon. I mean, adventure. Yeah. All right. I hope that everyone enjoyed the session, and I'm gonna try and end the stream here. So bye, stream. Thank you for those
Bye,
who came.
stream.
Bye,
Bye.
stream.